Did you buy another model? I can't believe you. You have way too many of those things. You need to sell some of them. You're wasting all your time and money on models. Paint what you have.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Model Club TV, episode 18. Hello, Scott.
18. Hi.
As always, my co-host is Scott Johansson.
I feel like we've done this before.
Yeah, it's feeling kind of deja vu-ish.
Well, why would that be, do you think?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you
Actually,
why.
I don't know why. But this is the second time we're recording this entire episode. And so if we don't seem as enthusiastic as we normally do, it's because it's the second time. And in one part, the email part, it's the third time because the first time we recorded the emails in the Matt episode, we decided not to use them. So here we are. We had an audio error, and in the first one, you couldn't hear.
Who had an audio error?
I mean, I did.
Thank
but
you.
Because, all right, we won't get into it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we're a team, so it's my fault too somehow. Whatever.
Everything's
Okay.
your fault.
Pretty much.
All right. So anyway, how you doing, Scott? You good?
I'm great. Yep.
What's new with you? I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
What's
for
new
once.
with me? Well, what is new with me? Surgery is pushed back to April 1st. I don't know if we covered that in the last episode, but surgery is back to April 1st. So I'm going to live just a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. And April 1st is pretty appropriate, I think.
You know, a lot of people said to me, only you would have surgery on the 1st of April. And then I've also, because of the magic of television or the internet or YouTube or whatever it is, I can now say that in our first recording of this, I had a COVID appointment tomorrow. Now I can say I got my vaccine yesterday.
How you feeling?
So, really nothing. I've talked to a few people that said their arm got really sore and stuff like that. And my arm feels like I had a needle stuck in it 2 days ago. Okay. Like a bruise, like an ache. Like if I do this, I can still feel it.
Like how I used to feel after gym class after all the bullies pummeled me in the arm.
No, like you feel when they put one of those 18 rings in your ear, probably. Okay.
That didn't hurt that bad, actually.
But no, and that's all it is. It was just like a normal shot.
Well, good.
Nothing, no side effects. I got the Pfizer vaccine, and I go back a week after my surgery to get number 2.
Good. That's good for you. I'm glad you got that before you went in, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yes. And if I grow a tail or anything, we'll show it here first.
I don't want to see that. No.
Big old hairy, hairy tail coming out of my ass.
I just pictured, no.
With a point on the end, like a little devil point. Yeah.
Oh God, I just pictured your bare ass with a tail. Oh no.
Oh man.
Oh.
That'd be cool. And then I'd get a tattoo of you at your mouth right on the end of the tail. So the tail's coming out of your mouth. So there you go. All right. Yeah. Hey, Spike, have some fun with that. Okay.
Oh boy. Oh, wait, here. No, never do that. I just did that. I shouldn't have done that because now they can put things in my mouth in Photoshop. Dang it.
They need Photoshop for that.
That's true.
Freak.
All right. So the other problem that was created from our redoing this episode was our drawing for the Planet of the Apes bust from Paul Gill and Gillman Studios. We pulled a name. We have it on tape. And here you're looking at it right now as I'm talking about the new drawing. You might even be seeing it right now. The name that won this Planet of the Apes bust from Paul is Roy Kirchhoff. And we pulled that name. And since I wanted the drawing to still be on the up and up, I wanted to show the old way. And I wore the same clothes to try and fix continuity, but I don't think Scott did. So Roy Kirchhoff, I'm gonna email you. We're gonna get your address. We're gonna get the Planet of the Apes bust out to you. Your best friend Chinksy sent in a Planet of the Apes finished Caesar bust for you to look at.
It's
Scott.
Finished, all right. So it's finished.
But
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Bill and the other 2 busts he has here, the other bust he has here is an Urco. That's a Needful Things release, which is nice as well. Really nice bust. and you showed it on the pictures and stuff. And Jason almost didn't want to have the drawing. He says, "I want this for myself. We should just keep this for ourselves." But I want to thank Mark Van Tine and Paul Gill again for sending this.
Oh, I didn't get to show last time. Thank that reminded me. I didn't get to show you this last time because I had just got the kit in the mail. There's a nice little cool drawing on the bottom and signed by Mark. So
there you go.
Yeah. But thank you guys.
Yeah, no,
we really do appreciate it.
Paul's been really supportive of what we're doing and appreciate that as well. So
yeah, absolutely. So we'll get that out to you, Roy. Congratulations. That brings us to this episode's giveaway.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. The first one. You have to be a modeler of diminutive size. Typhon Studios and Mike Calvert is this week's donor.
I wish he sent a kidney.
That would be good.
Whenever, yeah.
I don't know if it would
Dry
make it
ice.
across the Atlantic, but
Dry ice. Yeah.
The first part of his giveaway is really easy to win. You have to wear a size medium t-shirt. He sent us a pretty cool Typhon Studios t-shirt, but it is size medium. So the first person to send an email to modelclubtv@gmail.com, you will get this shirt and I will send it to you if you wear a medium. If you don't wear a medium, send an email to modelclubtv@gmail.com. But you have to wear the shirt and send us a picture.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, if you order it and you don't wear a medium, I damn well better see your fat ass in this medium.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Otherwise, I'm going to put it on and you're going to see my fat ass in this. Okay. So
yes, first person to get an email for the shirt wins it. Done.
Done.
Yours. Okay. You may have noticed in that little thing an automated email. That was the source of much swearing and much money. And I'll talk about that next time because this episode we're keeping it short.
Yeah. And it basically
anyway.
came about because Jason can't say modelclubtv@gmail.com.
Actually, that's fucking true.
He had to spend $150 on some equipment that he can hit the button and the email pops up. So Model Club TV.
But it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty professional. And since you can't see it right now, when you see this episode come out, you're gonna be like, "Hey, yeah, that was worth $160."
Sure was, because you can't talk.
Anyway,
get it fixed.
Have I ever told you what my family does to me in my mumbling? Have I ever told you this?
No, this ought to be.
My dad and my brother make fun of me incessantly for my mumbling my entire life. And I do have a mumbling problem. I admit it fully. And I speak for a living. And I totally get it. But I was going through, I forget what I was watching or reading, but it was about anxiety disorders and people with social anxiety. And one of the biggest symptoms of people with social anxiety is mumbling. And so I took that paper back to my dad and I go, "You've been making fun of me my entire life for a psychological problem I have." Anyway, sorry. Mike Calvert, Typhon Studios.
I'm your host, Jason Mumbles Walker. And there you go.
This is therapeutic for me. It really is.
Okay. Could you understand? Did you ever see Dick Tracy?
Yes. No, my brother makes fun of me. We went yes. So we saw that movie. He goes, that sounds like you. And I was like, I hate you. All right. Anyway.
On to our drawing.
Yes,
we're
trying to keep this short because, again, second time we're doing it.
You know what, though? This is good because we have new material.
We do have new material.
We can't relive the jokes I made last time.
There were some great ones, though.
I know.
But anyway. All right. Mike Calvert, Typhon Studios, has generously sent us across the Atlantic Ocean one of his kits. Now, Scott, there's a special rule for this giveaway. Would you like to tell everyone what it is?
We don't have a button for that?
Next time. Next time. I'm not even kidding. You don't understand how much swearing it took for that to happen. So please, just that the email shows up is a...
We have to limit this to our U.S. watchers. And the reason being is the first drawing we had to send, where did you have to send that? To England?
England, yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, and it was not cheap.
And we're not complaining.
No, and we're not complaining because we got the kit for free, and you know,
we wanted to make someone happy. So
we wanted to make someone happy, and him and we both split the cost. I didn't make him pay for it because all I hear about is I bought $150 so I could put a name up here.
already,
But but regardless, so it would actually be cheaper for you to probably buy this if you lived overseas. Just buy it straight from Mike than it would be for us to send it back to you. However, if you didn't buy this bust because of the shipping costs, now's your chance to get this bust shipped to you for free in the United States. And we have, and it's one of their earlier releases, sculpted by Kent Kidwell, the Phantom of the Opera.
Now we are going to put pictures up. I was going to open the kit up and show people, but it is packed so nicely. I don't want to ruin it. So let me just there's a scroll in there. A scroll. There's a scroll.
Is there a scroll in there?
Come on. There is a scroll. And it's got string tying it together. It's so neatly packed. I don't want to touch this.
Because I was looking at pictures, and we're going to put some pictures up. I believe this has 2 heads.
Yeah, I got to go back and look too. This would have been done. I would have looked at those pictures when I was editing yesterday, but we had to redo it. So yes, there's this. The other thing that comes with it, you get a really cool, seal. He's sent, there's some other really cool, and I said really cool twice. There's some Phantom of the Opera pieces that go with it. The music sheets are there. Kind of see them. There's an admit one ticket. This is a kit. This is how garage kit companies are going to have to stay alive, I think, in the days of 3D printing. You get all these little cool extras that are coming with it.
What are those? Are those like tattoos?
Those are stickers.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think they're all stickers, actually. I think that feels like a sticker, but I don't want to mess with it.
I want a Jaeger Army sticker.
And then this is a Typhon, 2 Typhon stickers.
I want a Typhon sticker.
A really nice card that you can
even edit this out. I want all that stuff.
This is frameable.
Hey, just edit all that out. I want all this stuff. No.
You could pay me and I'll put your name in the drawing.
That's great.
All right. So yeah. So please, US people, send us an email to. Oh no, it didn't work.
modelclubtv@gmail.com. There we go. With Phantom as the tagline.
Phantom as the subject matter. Subject line.
Jason will, I don't know what he does after that.
You'll get a ticket number and then we'll draw your name.
You'll get a ticket number and we'll draw on our next episode that we'll call the pre-surgery. Could be Scott's last episode. Yeah. You know what? If I drop, I want everyone to watch what happened to him right there. So, but, yeah. So again, modelclubtv@gmail.com.
I don't want to find a new co-host. You better not die.
Subject Phantom. And we'll get you in there. And again, US watchers only on this one, unfortunately.
Watchers are listeners also.
Or listeners. Yeah. Or just stragglers.
There is, I don't know if people know, but I always put it in the information. This is available audio as well. So you can listen. If you say, Alexa, play Model Club TV, you can find the podcast and listen to it that way. Or download it through podcast software if you like to listen instead of look and work. So, yeah. But thank you, Mike Calvert. This is awesome. And again, don't forget, t-shirt, size medium, first email, or size XXX, but you have to take a picture in the shirt.
Yeah. And again, the folks that have donated kits, Mike, Troy, Paul, twice now.
Larry, we really appreciate it. And
again, if anyone wants to get their product out there and just donate, have it donated, hey, we'll do it.
We're getting about
we're not keeping
200 viewers an episode. So at least 200 people will see that you're selling something. And, no one's paid us to say anything. We're just whatever. We'll help anybody else.
Ass kissers, apparently. Yes. So,
yep.
And be sure to please hit that like button. Even if you're a subscriber, hit that like button.
The like button helps a ton. So, and comments and likes are going to help us get kind of noticed, but which I don't know if we even really want, but whatever.
Oh, I love the comments. I love answering the comments.
No, not the comments. I don't think we want to get noticed very much because We could probably get in trouble for some of the stuff we say. But anyway, we're a little slaphead. Look, I am not wearing a black t-shirt. For the person that made that comment. Patty's Pub.
Look, I'm wearing a gray t-shirt. I was wearing a green t-shirt the first time we filmed it, and now I'm not.
Okay. All right. On to... Hey, wait, no, I wanted to ask you. I saw some movies.
Lucky you.
Couple things. I hate you. Based on Phil Kupka, I saw Velocipaster. The story, the sad tale of a pastor that turns into a dinosaur. And it is terrible but good. The dinosaur looks like it's made out of paper mache and he fights ninjas. That's all I really need to say. And after that, I watched Wolf Cop, which came up from a couple episodes ago with the Wolf Cop bust from
Dave Schmidt?
Yes. I kind of want I kind of want that kit now. I want to go back and get it. That movie's pretty good. It's ridiculous. Super Canadian werewolf cop movie who's a drunk, crazy cop and ends up being a cop as a werewolf. It's pretty cool. And we were totally wrong when we talked about it. It is not an old movie. It is a newer movie. So
And
we
that
made a
was
mistake
sculpted-
for the first
Was
time.
that sculpted by
I'm pretty
Mark
sure.
Van Tine?
I think so. Yep.
Yep.
That was our first mistake we've ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second
We'll go with
mistake was not recording Jason's audio, which maybe wasn't a mistake. So maybe we should have just
I'm
dumped
never
in
gonna
like
live it
stupid questions, like, how do you feel about the rectum as a whole? Stuff like that.
I'm never going to live it down. And then the other thing I did watch was I watched Blade Runner, but for the first time in 4K on my brand new Blade Runner 4K in Blu-ray, not Blu-ray, 4K DVD on my new 4K player. That thing looks amazing. The sound is amazing, but it's almost too clear because you can see how all the models are built. The building, the original pyramid building that they find, like it looks beautiful. And I'm so used to watching it on VHS, so it was shocking to see it that way.
And that was my problem with a lot of DVDs, the Blu-rays, is a lot of the CGI really,
Yeah.
the clearer you get it, it just doesn't look real.
It-
and it's, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Sometimes
see, here's what helps
we
that.
overdo it.
What helps that is, I think, for Blade Runner specifically, is they used a lot of models for that. It wasn't CGI. So it looks a little better and it doesn't pull you out as much. So definitely try and watch that in 4K if you can. It's really, really, really worth it.
So what happened? The Lord of the Rings movies didn't put you to sleep, so you figured Blade Runner would do it?
I'm telling you, one day I'm going to push a button on this thing and Peter Jackson is going to appear there and you're going to be like, oh no.
I didn't even say his worst
but
King
you're-
Kong movie ever made ass.
You're thinking it. You're thinking it. So did you see anything worth talking about?
No. I watched an animated Batman the Killing Joke was based on a they call it, I don't know why they call it a graphic novel, because at the time it was what they would just call a one-shot comic.
Yeah.
And it was beautifully drawn by Brian Boland. And so to me, I was used to seeing these beautiful artwork. So the animation was kind of simple, but the story was good. It was, I'll have to go revisit because I haven't read it in years and see how close it was. I think they added stuff to it because, how do you make a comic book into an hour and 10 minutes or hour and 20 minutes? But it was like the first animated Batman thing I've watched start to finish. There's a few more on there.
Okay.
Or I shouldn't say that was the first. No, I did watch The Dark Knight.
It's not, where are you watching it?
Just in my what I like to call my
not
brain
where
center.
specific, like where, like on what? HBO Max? Is that where it is? Or how?
Yes,
you
I think it is. I think it is on HBO Max. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they do have a lot of the DC stuff on there, so it's kind of the opposite of Disney.
Yeah, someone said they accidentally showed the Snyder cut of Justice League.
They did?
Yeah, accidentally. It was an accident. So I think it only happened once.
Oh man.
So-
Okay, that's a big mistake.
But oopsie.
Yeah, that's a huge mistake. I also watched, and we're going along here again. That's always, I watched Saint Maud, which is one of my favorite movies of all time now. And if you get a chance, I highly recommend Saint Maud. And we'll leave it
Is
at
B.
that.
Arthur in it?
No,
Hmm.
There's a lot of kerosene in that movie. Anyway, all right, let's move on to news and reviews. Scott, did you get anything? Did you see anything?
Yes, I purchased this, and we showed it, I think, last episode. Jeff Yeager sculpted this Dracula for John Deere, and that came, and the castings are beautiful.
They look nice. Yeah,
yeah. John's, still on a bit of a learning curve with a Rotocaster, but he's getting there. And this is a tricky piece to rotocast, the piece with the torso and the cape. And but he did a great job. So
cool.
And it's a Dracula that's got a different face. He's kind of grimacing, but you don't see teeth. So,
and we learn why later on. You don't see teeth.
Yeah. So I picked that up, and that's Monsters from the Woods, John Deere. I think it's a 185 plus shipping. And I know he's bitching about it because he's got a ton of orders and he's already got rashes on his hands from the resin. So whatever.
Have fun casting, sir.
All right. Next piece that I saw on the Jaeger Army as well is Grimsdyke from Tales of the Crypt.
Tales from
the Crypt.
The movie, not the TV show.
Yeah. And this thing is beautiful.
Yeah,
and again, it's of course, it's something I've never seen, but it is really nice. Okay. Not sure the scale, probably quarter scale if it goes along with, everything else Paul does.
I kind of hope it's a little smaller. I really
think I actually saw a picture of this already in rubber, and I really don't know how. I mean, I know he's pumping out those Black Cat busts and all his other busts, and now he's doing this. You can't say the guy isn't, working like crazy doing this stuff. So
no, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, another really nice piece by Jeff and Paul Gill. Gillman Productions, figure model kits, Paul Gill on Facebook. You can reach him there. And I think in the clubhouse too. I think he's Graybeard in the clubhouse.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
I think you can reach him there. So, but nice kit. Then the last model kit I picked up was this stupid little monkey. And I'm going to see if I can get it close just to get myself out of focus.
Yeah, and then we'll have to worry about that again. That's a cool monkey.
It's just, he's goofy looking. The guy put it up there, and, I'm a sap for cartoon kits. Not that this is necessarily a cartoon character. If it is, please, somebody let me know. I don't even know who sculpted this or who made it. It's really got Jimmy Flintstone written all over it. But
it kind of, it does feel Jimmy-ish.
But I don't want to say for sure. I don't want to insult.
That reminds me. After the last episode where we were talking about Jimmy Flintstone, I went to order the kit that Godzilla bust on his website, and it would not accept my address. I went through the shopping cart, did all that stuff, and it kept saying my address was invalid. It would not complete the purchase process. I tried to buy a model kit. I'm going to have to go back and try it again and see what was wrong, but I don't know. So we'll figure it out.
So while you were talking and I wasn't paying attention, I got out my magnifying glass. And because I saw a signature in the back of this. And it's Sam Arneson, Arneson, 2002.
Oh, that's old.
Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but this is 19 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what this was for. I don't know what it sold originally for. A gentleman sold this to me off of one of the groups for, I think like $25. And casting's really good. I'm looking here, and I don't know if you're going to be able to make this out. So hold on, I'm going to turn it to the camera. Yeah, you can. So this right here is flash, but he used it so the resin would flow there. So that's kind of cool. And then you can cut right out. I just noticed that while I'm sitting here. And there's even, let's see if you can see it. It's kind of funny. So the way that flash goes right up that monkey's butt. So there's going to be monkey butt.
Man, you got to put some balls on that thing too.
The other thing I bought this on Amazon. I've been promising this foam review forever. And so I bought another product to add to that foam review. And I think it was $6.
Sculpt and paint?
Sculpture canvas. Sculpt and paint. I want to say this is 18 by 24 by 3 centimeters, whatever that goes down to. So I think it's about an inch.
What is it?
And it's a foam, and that you can carve and then
Oh,
paint.
it's like a carving block.
Yeah, and it looks a lot like the balsa foam. And again, I'll throw myself out of focus if I can. But here is the back of it. Just a craft that someone's doing.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works as well.
All right.
So, there we go. That's all I got. What did you get? Did you get anything?
I just picked up 2 new miniatures from the store today, actually, that were birthday. They were like limited edition birthday for a store when it opens. So nothing really to talk about. We did see the witch kit painted.
Yes, our friend, who I can't wait to have on, Anthony Aranjo, painted this, again, sculpted by Jeff Yeager. And I think we should have the Jeff Yeager drinking game every time Jeff's name is mentioned. Okay. Because screw Robson, he doesn't even comment on our stuff anymore. But so the which was sculpted by Jeff Yeager, and you got the update last episode from Mark Worthling. But here's Anthony Aranjo's beautiful paint job, and can't wait to get this one. This is really cool.
Yeah, it looks really good. The witch's pot, the way he painted that looks great.
Yep.
Looks really cool. So awesome. Anything else? News and review? I think that's pretty much it. It's been kind of slow. I did find an old G fan when I was going through some stuff.
Look at that.
Yeah. Episode. That's I got podcast. Issue number 12, November, December 1994. And I think I went this actually there's a really cool there's a picture in the back that when I saw it, I thought this was pretty cool. When I saw this, it says G fan connection, Chicago G gathering prelude to con ? So this was before G Fest even happened. So this was kind of like, like the early days of Jersey Fest as well, but they did it here in Chicago first for Godzilla. But I think I went to the G Fest the year after that, like 95, because I remember driving up from Normal to go by, and I bought a Gamera kit that day. All right.
When he says driving up from Normal, understand that's where he went to college. That's the city's name, because he's never returned to Normal from
the workbench.
Dun, 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 dun.
Scott, we got a new part of the workbench, a new segment within a segment. We're going to just show pictures of our workbenches the day before, the day of we record these things. Now, it was a couple days ago. Here's mine. I have 2 workbenches. I have one that I kind of do my painting and where I do the recording. And then I have a building bench back there that I kind of separated to kind of keep it separate. So I'll just put up those 2 pictures. This is kind of how I work. It's crazy. You'll see very similar how Bill does. And this is actually calm for my desk. How about yours? Here's yours.
Here's mine. As you can see, mine's very organized and clean because I don't do anything.
And I think the goal for this thing is to watch and see what changes on Scott's workbench over the episode.
Because my little tiny tear is there, and I've got some other little projects there. But
so yeah, I thought that would be kind of cool just to see what we do as it's going. So we'll keep going that. Speaking of tiny tears, are you ready? I know you want to call me out on this. So I finished puttying my seams, and I went to wash this thing and scrub it. And I got back to the seat, started hitting it with the hairdryer, and noticed a fin was missing. So I looked all over the floor, couldn't find it. I went back to the sink, undid the drain elbow in the sink to see if it went down the drain, looked in the sump pit to see if it went down into the sump pit. I couldn't find it. So I'm in the process of resculpting one fin to go in here. Now, Scott has a problem with my fins. Care to share?
I sure do. So I don't know why he's resculpting it, because he's not putting them on the way they're supposed to be put on. So when you got this from Mr. Parks, it came with this piece of paper in it that showed how the fins attached, and you see the head to toe or head to tail there, and directions. And I don't know if this will focus on this, but if anyone needs this picture, by the way, I can send you a picture of this, the JPEG.
I refused to take it, remember?
But Jason apparently thinks he's better than the original artist, and he's going to build it his way.
Well,
okay.
Mike's dead.
Mine's going to be built the way it was meant to be.
So since Mike is dead, he can't yell at me or attack me for doing it this way. I like the arc of it, instead of the build up to the high. Right? If you agree with me, please leave a comment below. That'd be great.
And if you believe in artistic integrity, it should be the way Mike, And
I'm working out and putting poop on his foot. I had decided. Someone in the comments had a great idea for bubble gum, that he was stepping in gum. I think that's a great idea.
That's Kurt Krause, who can't walk and chew gum on his own. So
that's
take that.
And then the saga of the Iron Maiden airplane ended. I finished it. Holy crap, did I swear a lot. The cool thing that came out of that is, and I just put the bottles over there. The cool thing that came out of that is I used Microsol and Microset, which I had never used for decals before. The Microset you put on to set the decals, and the Microsol was, I was always told, because I had never actually used it, softens the decal and lets it go over 3-dimensional parts. And so you don't get wrinkles, and it really thins it out. That stuff works really well, like really well. And you can see the panel, and not being an airplane guy or a car guy, I've never done this before, but you can see the panel lines through the decals once you've done that a few times, and it looks like it's painted on. I couldn't believe it. So
is the decal dry when you apply that?
Yeah,
then?
so you have to let it dry first. You let it set, let it dry, like totally. And then you brush that stuff on in a series of brush it on from the center out to kind of help start smoothing it. Then let that dry, then do it again, let it dry. And it's just a process of doing it over and over and over until it looks right. And it looks really good. And
Are the directions on the bottle?
I think so. But there's tons of
videos.
videos.
There's videos.
Yeah, there's tons on YouTube. That's how I went and looked. There's some really good videos actually on how to use it. So check out Microsol and Microset if you have to do decals. I 100% recommend that.
And which of these decals, sir, was the one you ripped while you were talking to me on the phone and started cussing?
Everyone's going to think I swear a lot. I do. The left side. Is there a word for the left side of an airplane? Aft? What is that, tail? What is that? I don't know.
I know. Go ahead and screw that up and piss off the military guys.
The left side of the plane tail, the flag on the tail. I was brushing it with the Microsoft, and it just totally, it was before that. I ripped the corner off. And then the Microsol I used, I put the corner back on there, and it blended it together and fused it, and you can't even tell. So that stuff, if you ever rip a decal, that will fix it and make it look really good. So yeah, that's the workbench.
Now, they usually say you have to put decals over a gloss finish. You didn't in this case.
I didn't.
It worked fine.
It worked. Yeah. There was the only problem I had, the Microset beads up on it a lot, which it might do on gloss, I would think. I just didn't want to have to gloss that whole thing. And then if it was for me, I might have done that, and I didn't do all the panel lines. I was over it. And I had to paint the 2 miniature Eddies that go with it too. The guy that sits in the cockpit. And anyway, that's me for the workbench. How about you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
I took a picture of mine.
You did. That's a good start. I think that we could workbench shame you eventually. Might be the guess.
Whatever. Yeah. Adjust your volume. Yeah. Real quick, we want to thank everyone for the comments on the video montage tribute to Matt in our last day's episode. I think Trevor shared it on Matt's page, and Matt's family saw it, and they really were thankful that we did it. And it's one of the few things here I can't take credit for. Jason put that together, although I did provide a few of the photos, but
of course he takes credit.
Probably the better photos, but and a lot of the photos I think came from Thad as well, if not most of the rest of them. Yeah. And again, just a real quick note, he's really going to be missed, and thanks for the kind words, even if you didn't know him, and thanks for the kind words on the video montage and the tribute.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, okay, on to our guest.
Our guest today is Bill Monster Jones, and it's a name that's been around for a while. And I want to say thank you to Bill for doing it twice. Oh my God. I'm not even kidding. When I had to email him, I thought he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So I kind of knew I'd be okay, but I still was like, he might just tell me to go screw. Like,
yeah, email him and tell me you screwed up again. Let me know how that goes.
I know. I hope everything went well today.
Because I can tell you right now, I'm not recording this.
I'm not recording it again either.
Okay.
We will be.
We'll go right to 19.
Yep. It'll be the lost episode. Thank you, Bill. Seriously. But Bill Monster Jones has been around for a while. He loves his sci-fi. He loves his Godzilla stuff. And we're going to get a cool, pretty tour of his monster cave in his house and see a lot of his collection. And there's some really good modeling tips in there. But yeah, enjoy the interview. Hello, everybody. We are back with our guest, Bill Monster Jones, the amazing modeler from the state of Texas. How are you, sir?
I am super. We are through with our big giant freeze of the century here, and things are looking good around here.
Excellent. Where at in Texas are you?
I'm in Austin, Texas, which is the very center of Texas.
Cool.
Yeah.
The last time I saw you, other than the other day when this got messed up, where was the last place I saw you? It was Wonderfest, right?
Wonderfest, correct.
What year was that, you think?
I believe that was 2004 with the Creature from the Black Lagoon crowd.
And that
you
was
might have been next to me. I was at Sean's the Creaturescape table.
Yeah, it was right around. Yep, Creaturescape. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. We're gonna get a quick tour of your monster den, your monster cave, can we call it, in here in a little bit. But other than that, your quick history in the hobby. How did you find monster model kits? I'm pretty sure you're an Aurora guy like Scott. I have a feeling you're in that same age range, but is that true?
Yes. I started off building Aurora models, and like everybody else, you pick up the box and you look at the box art and you go, wow, that is cool. You got to have that box art, and you just stare at it, and then you convince your parents to give you $1 to buy the darn thing. And I built those many, many, many times. And then I started subscribing to this magazine, Famous Monsters, and it was this issue that had all the custom diorama stuff where people did actual kit bashing, and that really turned me on. So I've been loving that ever since.
Cool.
You buy that on the newsstand? Yeah. Did you remember getting that on the newsstand, that issue, or did you get it as a back issue at some point?
Well, I sold all my stuff years ago, but I went and bought that on eBay.
But I mean, when you originally saw that issue, did you bought it right off the newsstand fresh?
Yeah, exactly.
Were you a subscriber, Scott, or did you just kind of pick it up as a kid?
So when I started to get it, my brother had a few sporadic issues, and by the time I kind of did my own thing, they were in the 90s already. But that particular issue, because it had King Kong on the cover, I ordered as a back issue. And Bill, I don't know if you ever ordered any back issues directly from Warren, but they took forever to get there, because that was back in the days. Send a check or money order, and you send a check, and it'd wait to clear, and you'd get these things from them, and they were like mint, right off the newsstand condition. And so that was always really cool because it was like getting a new issue, but it was old. And yeah, when I saw that, I went nuts. But so that's why I was just curious about that issue. So Bill's a little older than me. Just saying.
And of course, I'm a little younger. I'm a child of Fangoria. So when that's the monster magazine I used to read all the time. What got you back into the hobby?
I went to a toy fair here in Austin, and I saw a magazine called Kit Builders and Glue Snippers. And I picked that up, and I flipped through it, and my eyeballs bugged out. And I went, oh, my God, this is incredible. And then Toy Shop magazine, I remember that big trade magazine. They had
Yep.
pictures of stuff like Billikens, and they had the Creature versus Croc model in there. They had a picture of it, and I was like, oh man, this whole Aurora model thing has exploded. So between the kit builders, I found out there was a new renaissance for these monster models. So I sent off everything I could, get any catalog or from Q-Box. I don't know if you remember Q-Box.
I remember I had Q-Box.
Yes, yeah.
And Monsters in Motion, they had like basically everything was Xerox, their catalog.
Same with
Xerox
Puff and Stuff. Did you order stuff from them too?
Puff and Stuff, yeah. And I didn't know anything about Billiken, and when I finally got the first Billiken kit or something, I was like, "This is Aurora on steroids,"
Yep. And that was the thing. Like, you wouldn't even get, like, it was Xerox. That catalog, when they had the Xerox catalogs, it was usually the list of the name of the thing, and then maybe a little thumbnail picture that someone had cut out and glued when they Xeroxed it.
Right.
And so you really never knew what it was. You couldn't just search up a picture and find what it was, like it is now. And there is that fanzine-esque part to it way back then that is really cool.
This is pre-computer days too.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how we kind of met. I think originally all of us was Gremlins in the Garage, like late 90s,
That's right,
mid 90s. And at that point, what was your first kit? Like the one that you really remember that you're like, okay, I'm back. I'm going to build like.
I went to a local hobby shop, and they had the Horizon Creature from the Black Lagoon, and that was $30. And I was blowing a gasket like $30.
I know.
How dare they?
Same thing here.
It's so
Don's
funny
Hobby World.
Nowadays, nowadays it's through the roof, right?
Yeah. Do you still have that one?
I sure do.
Yeah. Okay. I still have those first ones too. So you were telling us earlier before we started recording about the Illuminator kit that you had built too.
That's right. My wife was aware of my monster fetishes, and she bought me the Illuminator Dracula.
Uh-huh.
And one time it snowed here again in Texas, and we were kind of locked in. So I built that thing and painted it, and I realized how much fun it was because it was many years since I'd stopped doing it, and I have more patience now since I'm older. I could paint at the correct places, and not smear it all with blood and everything. So I had a great time, and I put some pins as fangs. So I kind of kit bashed that right off the bat because I was always like, hey, Bela Lugosi, they never shows fangs, So I added little pins in that. It turned out really well, and it kind of, once you do something once, you go, I'm going to do that again.
Cool. Scott, why didn't they show his teeth? Do you know?
He had bad teeth. I think he had bad teeth, or he didn't like to show his teeth because his teeth weren't great. I had read somewhere, I believe. So back then in 1931, you'd have never got past the censors, showing somebody ripping somebody's throat out or anything. You'll notice you never really see him bite anybody. It's same with the Wolfman. You never saw the Wolfman, actually bite anybody. So it was crazy. So Bill, I got a quick question.
Yes.
When you did that Dracula, you glued it up and you painted it, obviously. Did you know anything about seaming kits or any of those tricks at that point? Or did that come later on, or just,
I did not. I didn't know about seaming kits. I did have some acrylic paint, I believe, and I knew to prime it somehow. So I primed it, and I used acrylic paint. But no, it was, when I started buying paints again, I was like, oh, this is going to turn into obsession real quick. Once you buy a couple colors and you go, this ain't going to cut it,
So when did you first catch on to the whole seaming, dry brushing, all that? I mean, were you a David Fisher disciple like so many of us? Or?
Yeah, I bought the VHS tape. And after that first tape, I was like, man, I got my work cut out after that because I saw his Predator diorama with the hunting party. I'm like, holy cow, look at that.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was amazing. So,
did you do like I did too and go buy every single thing that he had in that video, like the same airbrush? I went and bought the same airbrush. I went and bought the same, as close to the same tools as I could find.
What airbrush was it? Was it a Sotar at that time or something?
I think the Sotar didn't come to the second video, but
all right.
Or no, the Sotar came in the third video. I
Okay.
think the testers, the Aztec came in.
Yeah,
that.
he did use an
That
Aztec.
was my
Yep.
first airbrush was the Aztec.
Was the Aztec?
It's a little
And-
nozzles, you know.
Yeah, and you just clean the nozzles rather than pull the needle out and all that. And I still have mine, of course, mitten box. But
Wait, have you never used it?
I think I've used it a little bit, or I've played with it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It had a splatter tip, which was kind of cool.
Yeah,
That's
is
the
kind
thing about that. I would use that for the splatter tip because
Mhm.
that's a hard thing to recreate.
Hey, you know what I found? This is totally, and we might talk about this later. If you go, there's a for 3D printing, there's a website called Thingiverse where you can just
Yes.
people make things and you can print them out. Someone makes a splatter tip attachment for airbrushes, and it's just like a plastic thing that you clip on the end of your airbrush, and the paint kind of gathers on there and then splatters out instead of like trying to do it with your needle. So if you ever get a chance, check it out. It doesn't. I couldn't find the one to fit my airbrush, so I never got to try it. I think they make them for Badgers, and I have an Iwata, so it didn't fit mine. But check it out, anyone. Thingiverse. There's some cool stuff to print on there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What I use for splatter now, I use a toothbrush and dip it in the paint and just flick it right on that paint. model.
I do that a lot too. When I used to
I
splatter
recently-
blood, and then my hand would come away looking like I slammed my thumb in a door.
Oh yeah,
I recently saw a one of the sideshow videos, one of the painters, and I forgot which one. It wasn't Anthony, it might have been Kat, and she was painting a face, and they actually use a slight like speckling splatter on there to blend their stuff. It was really interesting to see that. I think Steve had told me about that tip too at one time, but yeah, I did that. I got that first 2 videos, and I was like, I went and bought everything. Yeah, I didn't,
yeah, because you see what can be done. Like if he can do it,
Mhm.
man, that's something to aspire to.
I still have bottles. This is no shit, Bill. I still have bottles of the Floquil airbrush thinner. They came in the blue bottle. I probably still have about 5 of those upstairs still unopened. So
I used to use that too. That was great stuff.
yeah, word to the wise, it burns when you get in your eyes.
Wait, I think I like the smell of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's a good smell. Well, yeah, I don't smell paint. What like your favorite genre of model kit? Where are you? What is it? I know it's monsters. There's a name there, but what monsters specifically? Where you would say this is my wheelhouse? What is it?
I would say my wheelhouse is anything from the 50s or the 60s, which would include the basic 30s guys too.
Yeah.
So, but I love B monsters. I like Mark Brokaw. I love all the B monster stuff, Creature 50s, and Godzilla, which is included in that. That's a whole nother vein there. But Creature from the Black Lagoon, yeah, I'd say he's my favorite.
And the really like the B movie sci-fi stuff, the classic like sci-fi monsters and stuff, which you don't see a lot of that. Like there's a couple places that do a lot, but I think if we got as many of those B movie monsters as we do the classic 30s, and done really well, those would do they would do really well for those producers if they kept making them.
They do well by me.
I know. You're going to corner the market on those too.
Billiken was one of the first ones, right?
Yeah,
That did the Colossal Man and She Creature, It Conquered the World,
Yeah,
Saucer Man, yeah.
that's
And those designs are so original and different too. You don't see they don't do stuff like that anymore. Like just out there crazy designs. Like here's a walking triangle with crab claws. I don't know. It's weird. Do you want to take us on a tour?
I sure do. Okay,
Excellent.
Let me unhinge myself here.
I think you're our first phone guest, so this makes it really easy instead of walking around with a cord and a camera.
Okay. Let's see if I can get turned around here. Oh, here we go. Hey,
Cool.
We're mobile. So as I said, the 50 stuff is what I like. And if you look at these posters, like the 50-foot woman here, the movie is not that good, but the poster is killer.
That poster is killer.
All the little guys down at Reynolds Brown, the artist. I love all the Reynolds Brown stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, that is really cool. Like I said, you can put sprockets on these posters. They said, and then we have the 50-foot woman kit right there.
I'm surprised on that poster more guys aren't looking up.
Yeah, right.
Actually, that'd be pretty scary if that's small at that point.
Yeah, she's a little more than 50 feet in that shot, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, you know.
You might never find your way out of there.
That's a Victoria's Secret size you're not going to find.
That's right. No kidding. So, there's the Jeff Yeager Nosferatu, which I love. Super job. Mike Hill's Dracula.
Still the best Dracula out there, I think.
Yeah. And check this out. Let's see. That's my dad.
Yeah.
Which Frankenstein bust is that? I mean, monster. Sorry.
That's Rob Rotunde, Needful Things bust. I forget who sculpted that. That been Robert Ortiz, I believe. I'm not sure. Anyway, going down another level here. There's the Metaluna Mutant.
I think that's my favorite big head. I love that.
Yeah. It's really cool, man. I did a pretty good job on those eyeballs.
Yeah, I love that.
Curse of the Werewolf. And here's a model I actually didn't paint. I want to repaint it, but it's Godzilla with a train in his mouth. That was the first time I ever spent $500 on a model kit.
I was going to say, that's a pricey one, Bill. That's a pricey one.
The first time he spent $500.
Oh, well, with the Kyoto, which makes a lot of Godzilla models, they had an online store that you could buy stuff. And they said this is the last day for the store, the last day to order it. And I had a credit card number, and that's all she wrote.
Wow.
Valley of the Guanji. That's the Kyoto Guanji, or
I don't think I've ever seen that in person.
I had to give a lot of dental work. I put toothpicks for teeth in there. It makes it look a little bit gnarlier.
Yeah, it does look gnarly. It totally does.
I like it.
So your Monolith Monster, I want to go on record as saying I have seen that movie. I will probably never watch it again, but I have seen that movie. So I just
what was your opinion? I thought it was kind of cool, right?
Well, it was typical 50s goofy stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was like, I forgot what stopped them. Was it water or
seawater?
Yeah, it was
sodium, salt water.
So,
so just cry on it and it'll run
just
away.
Just a fly and help me. And Teenage Werewolf, Mike Hills. I made a little custom base. I don't know if you can see the popcorn there.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Styrofoam. He dropped his popcorn and he's got a little poster behind him. I thought that was kind of cool. And this is another kit bash I did with Godzilla and a Mothra kit where Mothra pulls him away from the egg.
Yep. I love that scene. His wings are flapping so fast in that movie at that point.
Yeah, it drags him backwards.
Yeah.
And here's a primed rat fink that came. There's a documentary on Ed Roth called Tales of the Rat Fink. And this came out in conjunction with that documentary. Everybody in Big Daddy Roth fans, check out Tales of the Rat Fink. It's an awesome documentary.
Okay.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really colorful. It's got animation. You see Rat Fink running around.
I'm not a autograph hound per se, and Ed Roth was at the first Wonderfest I was at, and it's one of the few autographs I regret not getting.
Yeah,
and he was really nice.
I was too young to understand it at that time.
Yeah.
Well, you guys get that DVD. I think you can get it on eBay.
Okay.
And it has all cool cars, and they all talk, and it tells about how he created the first T-shirts with logos and pictures on the monsters on the T-shirts. And he did a lot just in the cars. This is the Bat Rat Spider Crab from Lunar Model.
The best name.
I know, and I put some glass eyes in them, which kind of gave a really kind of cool look to it. And some drool, Here's some Jeff Yeager 1/4 scale Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, the big trio there. And let's see, over here we got the Creature Kids Halloween series, which I think was a genius thing.
Yeah, it really is.
And they're based on the mask that you could buy in the back of Famous Monsters, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Topstone. Topstone was the company, I believe.
Yeah.
That
Isn't that a great idea?
Yes,
It really is. Yep. And they're so
then it's
well
stuff
done
like
too. They're so
you know?
dynamic and just completely well done.
Finger smoking off. And this was cool. The shock monster and the kids eating a Snickers bar. That's me. I believe I had that creature from the Black Lagoon, the Halloween costume. That And
Are those still available from anybody?
Jesse.
Jesse still has
Yeah.
all those? Okay.
Yeah, Jesse has those.
and these guys are in scale with them, so I put them with it. It's a Coop.
Oh, yeah.
Coop design.
The Barsom kit. Yep.
The Barsom kit, and I put Frankie wearing a Monster Jones T-shirt there.
Is that a decal you had put on there, or did you freehand that?
No, I didn't freehand that. It was a little decal. I just cut it to size, and it fit right on there. And
Gotcha.
Scooby Doo. There's another piece I'm real proud of is the creature swimming, water ballet, as I call it.
What did you make the water out of for that?
The water is a sheet of plexiglass, and I cut out a hole in the plexiglass and put her on top, and then I filled it in with the what's that stuff you buy at Home Depot? You fill in the cracks, caulk.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Just like silicone.
Yeah, just silicone.
Silicone caulk. Yeah, it's like water. When it dries, it's clear. It lets you swim in there.
All right.
Where did you get the girl figure? Where was she from? What was?
Well, you know the Flintstone one where the creature's carrying the girl.
Yes.
Jimmy Flint. I reposed her. So that was
That's the Needful Things creature, right? The swimming creature there? Is that?
that's the geometric design, and I reposed him.
Okay, because you moved the head then. You brought the head level.
Yes.
Okay.
The beautiful thing about vinyl kits is that you can cut them up and repose them pretty easy, vinyl.
That was the one problem I had with that kit. I didn't like the way the head, was just kind of looking like
Exactly. Exactly.
It was weird, but that's nice.
And this one I got just last year. It was the new Halloween Nightmare with the Dracula.
That's my favorite one so far, I think.
And the kid who is dressed as Dracula, you can see his mask there a little bit. He's like, "Oh, you like Dracula, huh?"
And that's just that stands alone. I mean, yeah, it goes with the series, but it also stands alone. You could put that by itself, and it's
I love the
cool by
cat.
itself.
Yeah, the cat's good.
Yeah, I like the cat too.
I like how that fence is exploding.
So I'm a big Godzilla fan. This is called The Big Swing.
It's one of the rare. I passed that kit up once, and it really, I regret it to this day.
I'm trying to think. And this, I put fur on King Kong here.
And how did you do the fur on there? Because it fits. It looks just like the Toho fur.
Right. At these hobby stores, you can buy braided strands of doll hair. And I bought a couple different colors, red and brown and black, and cut them to the size of 2-day stubble in a little bowl. And with my fingers, I mixed it together. So it was even. Then I put Mod Podge, which dries flat, the white glue, all over the model, and just dabbed the fur on there. When it dried, I took a toothbrush and removed the fur, and a lot of it stayed.
That works.
So it kind of looked like it worked.
Yeah, it totally.
Hey, go back to that one for a minute, if you would, Bill. So, what in the hell holds that Godzilla up from, just the weight of it sagging over time or anything? Is that a resin kit or is that a vinyl kit?
Okay, it's a vinyl kit.
Yep.
And what I have to do is put a wire through Kong's arms into the tailpiece, and then fill that with resin foam. And that creates a strong enough bond that holds the critter up.
Hold it up. Okay.
Yeah, I remember Larry when Larry Brackney
When
Larry Brackney built his, he was saying the same thing. He had to run a wire just like that and do the same thing because it just sags.
I used a coat hanger type thing. It works fine out of both arms, and you can cut the vinyls because it's hollow, And this is sort of the answer to the big swing, is the big kick. Godzilla gets back at Kong.
This is Sparta, right in the chest.
And here's what I did about a year and a half ago. I love that scene where they're fighting over the castle and the castle goes down.
Yeah.
I'd like to be the model builder that built that castle just so they could just destroy it. I mean,
Isn't that cool?
Oh, that work.
And here's the geometric Wolfman with Maliva addition that you can purchase or used to be able to.
And the gypsy.
Another Godzilla popping out of the iceberg.
Did you paint all that pattern on the gypsy, or was that molded into it?
No, there was someone who did an article about it, and they hand painted it, and I was like, oh, thanks a lot, because it was hell to paint. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that doesn't look fun.
That's why I asked.
Well, it tested my skills, and I'm a better painter. You realize what you do is you put a blob, and on top of the blob, you outline it in white, and then you put something else, and like, hey, that looks pretty good. You'd be surprised at little tricks you can do that kind of tricks the eye. It looks like you're doing something.
Well, like you go back to that David Fisher video when he was freehanding that lace pattern on the Linnea Quigley kit.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you can sit there and do that with a brush. I could do it with a Sharpie. I could never sit there and do it with a brush like that. Jesus.
Yeah. He helped me how to do the creature from the Black Lagoon holding Julie, and the Styrene kid how to do her little with gingham top, whatever that is.
Oh, the Paisley pattern or whatever it is. Yeah.
That was a very helpful thing. Okay, this is my Ray Harryhausen area here. But this isn't Ray Harryhausen. This is the Jaeger Frankenstein at the windmill, and I put a little LED light that looks like a flame behind it. And I got the flames from a new Jaeger creature. I talked to the producer and said, hey, send us those flames. And I put it to this, and I think it turned out rather
Yeah,
well.
that light adds a lot to it.
Yeah. And
I always thought that one captured the posture of the monster so well.
you know, there's so many Frankensteins that are real static. This is when he's freaking out. I love that.
No, I liked it right away when I saw it too.
Yeah. I'll just go over my Harryhausen area here. A lot of the Monsters in Motion stuff here.
I always like that Kali kit. It's a good piece.
That's a good one. Those swords are like barely on there, right? And the Sinbad goes well with that. So I did a little base, put all that together.
That is a jacked Sinbad.
Yeah, and this is the Hydra, of course, Monsters in Motion, Joe Ladate. And
I always thought that was a nice kid too.
A friend of mine sculpted that Jason for me, Chris Elzardo.
Oh yeah,
I know Chris. Chris sculpted a kit for me actually.
Well, there you go.
Nice guy actually. Chris is a nice guy too.
A real nice guy. He brought this kid over that was supposed to be, you know, the guy that's going to restart Aurora, Lapco or whatever that was.
Oh yeah, that was well for those that believe that from the beginning.
That was a nightmare, and he gave that kid. It was a Wolfman versus Frankenstein, and I said, "Man, I never saw it again."
Oh no.
Yeah, that was. We should talk about that one day in an episode because the people that believe that I couldn't believe. I was like, "This is all bullshit." It was like, no way.
There's the Talos from Jason the Argonauts. That's the only thing I really sculpted was that boat. That's
Argo. A good boat. You did a good job sculpting a boat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I put toothpicks on there and little railroad people that, you know, are sitting in cars, but I painted them different. And,
nice.
You know, he's fixing to grab them off.
Those that don't know, that was an unproduced Geometric Max Factory kit. And I don't think he ever put that out because I think something happened with the license and he never actually commercially put that out, if I remember correctly.
Wonderful. So, I've got another version of this. I'm going to have him clutching his throat when Jason lets the gas out of him.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Ooh, that's real hair on that, too, isn't it? That Curse of the Werewolf?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Man, it looks like it from a distance, though.
Thank you.
Well, either that or it's the dust. No, I'm just kidding, Bill. I'm just giving you a hard time.
There's the Blackheart bust. Did that one.
That's a good.
And you can see right here. I've got movie posters. Yeah, and a lot of these movie posters have been made into kits too. You know, you can see here's the Wasp Woman made it into a kit. So it's really awesome.
They are a good source of inspiration. They really are.
Yeah, I mean the artwork on them is Reynolds Brown. You know, he's the guy that I love. The man who drew Bug-Eyed Monsters. I don't know if you ever saw that documentary.
No, you're giving out good movie recommendations.
The Man Who Drew Bug-Eyed Monsters. Check it out. It's a
Okay.
little documentary about Reynolds Brown, and he drew all these. He did this creature one, and he did the mantis here. He did a lot. He did the original creatures really good. And here, I just recently finished this one. I Was a Teenage Werewolf, put out by Blackheart recently.
I love those eyes. That's really that sets it off.
Wonderfest, meeting Ray Harryhausen there.
That was a much younger Bill Jones.
Yeah, and a lot heavier too.
I can't say nothing. I was a lot lighter back then.
Yeah,
so
Scott did the opposite.
I went the opposite.
You know, when
Scott
we go
ate
up
the
and
old
down,
Bill
you know,
Jones.
this is
Yeah, well, no.
my
People
area
said,
where it all happens. See, I work in a complete mess.
Seeing
I'm
that
not one
makes
of
me
those
feel
people that
so
has
much
everything
better
together.
because that's exactly how I work. I'm not even kidding. That's exactly what my table looks like when I'm working on something.
And I got a junk drawer here. She's got little pieces of resin and all kinds of little heads and all kinds of.
I'll bet you know where everything is, though.
Yep.
I sure do, and that's the beauty of it.
Hey,
And that's-
Bill, back up
yep.
just a little bit. Is that a Godzilla versus Bambi brush holder there or no? That old Mike Parks?
Oh yeah. The thing here, that's from a Kyoto, a twisting or 1964.
Oh.
One of those big ones. But you know what? I cut him off in half and had him coming out of the earth. And so I had the feet left over, so I used his feet
Oh,
as
okay.
brush holders.
That's a good idea.
I want that kit so bad. That's one of
Here
the
he is.
first.
He has the foot of it.
And that's one of the. That's one of the only
Yeah, you
kits
can-
out there that I'm like actively look at if it comes up.
No,
Yeah.
A pump here with a little foot control. Yes, I repainted the creature and put taxidermy eyes in there, and man, it really made him pop.
it does. It
And I
almost looks lit
reposed
up.
the arm out. That almost does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so and you know I'm a big autograph hound, so got autographs here, Bud and Lou and Lon Chaney and Glenn Strange.
Oh, wow.
Lon Chaney autograph. Bob Burns. He was such a wonderful guy.
There's the walking triangle with claws. That's
He
what I was
bought one of
talking
my
about.
King Kong kits.
He did?
Bob bought one of my King Kong kits, and it made it into the documentary too that he did.
Oh, super.
Yep, that's cool. I like that Godzilla
Yeah,
versus
that
the
guy's
thing.
that's a good poster.
We're busting out of the poster there.
Yeah, that's cool.
And this is another Blackheart, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I love Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I think it's one of the greatest stop motion pictures ever. And this is the Bob Burns Award. I got one of those at Imagination Fest in Las Vegas.
I don't think I've ever seen those trophies, so it's really cool to see it in person. Well, through the camera like that.
Yeah.
How many
I wonder
times did
who
you go out to?
sculpted that.
How many times did you go out to Imagination?
Just the initial one.
Just the first one. Okay.
And I got to meet Jeff Yeager. That was my highlight. Like, ooh, Jeff Yeager.
You sound like Scott.
So here's the Dracula that started it off for me. The illuminators with the pins for.
It's so good to see you still have it. I love that. And you can see the fangs. They add to it.
Yeah, and I furred the Wolfman with the same technique as the King Kong. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
Also furred King Kong that way. That's a creature with one of those replacement heads that you can get. Really nice. Reposed classic Frankenstein. Geometrics Kong with glass eyes.
I like how he's like, hey.
So how do you get glass eyes in that? How do you get glass eyes in that?
Well, it's a vinyl kit, so you can drill them out and then put the glass eyes from behind. And just a very small amount of glue. And I use just a tiny bit of putty to make an eyelid.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't do an eyelid on that one, but it worked out pretty good. It's a little bird eyes for bird.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out pretty good. But from taxidermy, you can get all different sizes. They don't cost much. Everyone should have a stash of eyes.
I do.
Mark
They're
back.
just not the model kind.
Dude, I got one that goes wherever it wants. What do I want any more for?
Behind there, I don't know if you can see a plaque of Mars attacks from the Bubblegum card series.
Yes.
And there's a guy here in Austin that does a radio show named Len Brown. It turns out he was one of the creators of the card series.
Oh, wow.
So if you're familiar with the Mars Attack card series, he's one of the creators of it. And it was real bloody, you know. The moms were freaking out because it was so bloody.
Didn't they get pulled? Did they get pulled off the shelves?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is what led to their ultra rarity for a while there.
Bob Burns Award there. And that's the new Jaeger tribute, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
And this is the Coop Space Girl
Such a cool
with
kid.
her coffee swilling Martian kid buddy. And I put a Starbucks logo on his chest.
Of course.
Back when Starbucks was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that's the David Fisher how to paint the top that I did. More Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's the Horizon when I first went and bought it for $30. And I was like, Jesus Christ, $30.
Our old friend Phil Kupka is actually selling that. Well, I think he's selling it with a creature, but the Julia base and all that. It's so tempting.
You should get it. That's the best creature ever made.
Well, I have the creature, but I like the base.
Oh, look at her. You got to have that, bro.
Bill, I have so much shit now.
Do
It's
it,
not
do it,
even
Scott.
funny.
Buy it.
Buy it. Yeah, just buy it. Just do
Don't
it.
listen to us. We'll steer you right in the wrong direction. Buying everything.
There's a Sean Nagel classic there at the bottom right.
And that's the one that caught my attention in the Toy Shop magazine. I said, that's a wow, Creature versus Croc. It never happened in the movie, but that's so awesome.
Mhm.
Creature on Fire there, which is actually sold. I need to box this baby up and say goodbye.
Oh, that looks like fun to box up.
It came from outer space. Put a glass eye in that critter, but can't really see it.
I love
There's
that.
a glass eye. Isn't that
looks
wild?
like-
It came from outer space, 1950s one. I put a glass eye and it made all the difference. It really makes it pop.
That mouth area is suggestive. I don't.
So what's the difference between and I'm going to ask a dumb I don't watch movies question, Bill. It Came from Outer Space and It the Terror from Outer Space. Two different movies, right? Or no?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Two
all
movies.
right.
It came from outer space. They never showed the alien till the very end.
Okay.
It Terror from Outer Space was based on the movie Alien was based on that. And there's some posters that I had made. I want to give a shout out to this guy that makes these reproduction posters named Jim Zippo, like the lighter, Zippo lighter.
Uh-huh.
And if you look him up, Google Jim Zippo on Google, and he sells these things at a fairly decent price. And I had this one kind of custom made where you can put now showing at Monster Jones Theater. So I thought that was just
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's a great poster too.
yeah, just the graphics are just fantastic.
Jim
Of course,
Zippo? Okay. I'll get a link in
Zippo.
there somehow.
Jim
So
Zippo.
my last name was Zippo.
Yeah, he was a DJ. And okay, here's my little award section here. The Polar Lights when they put out the giant 16-inch Godzilla, they had a contest, and I won first place. God dang it!
I totally remember that. Wow.
Were you the guy with the brown Godzilla, Bill?
No, I flushed that one down.
All right.
I never understood that one.
If the guy who did the brown Godzilla is listening, we don't know who you are. We'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, and then here's some articles. They've had some newspapers done some stuff on me, really cool, and local awards. Let's see, more
Wait.
lobby cards.
Going back, what if the guy was colorblind and he saw green as brown?
Oh, stop.
Now you just ruined someone's
Whatever.
Mark Brokaw put these out for a while. I don't know if you can still get them, dude. They're life-size Invasion of the Saucer Nerd.
I remember walking into Wonderfest and seeing those the first time. I was like, holy cow.
Oh, Brokaw had a beautiful display
Yeah.
for those.
Yep.
I think Steve worked on that actually too.
Yeah.
Those are not finished, but I painted them glow in the dark because I had a giant Halloween party and it was a big hit. So I had those black light on them. So I need to paint them up proper.
Yeah. That would look cool glowing, though.
There's a Hideous Sun Demon, another movie I never saw, but I will say, I always thought the creature looked cool. I
Yeah,
always
that
thought
is
that was a cool
yep.
creature.
Yeah, no kidding. There's more Reynolds Brown and other kind of years. Got a lobby card here with the signature from the guy that played Godzilla, Haru Nakajima.
Did you meet him or did you just buy that like that?
Probably through Gremlins. Someone was going to a show and he was there. And I said, "Hey man, if you can give me an autograph, I'll send you something for him to sign."
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my room. Let's see. Here's something else I'm working on right now.
Ooh, speaking of thing,
The
thing,
thing.
yeah.
Okay, let's see if I get myself turned around here.
I love that 50s chair you got.
Yeah,
going
it is
there.
a great chair. That chair fits your studio so well. And we're back. Thank you for the tour, sir.
Welcome.
Let's get into some quick hobby tips. Your things you've learned over the years. You've been doing this a long time. You paint a lot of Godzillas. You have, I think, an amazing wash formula that works really well on Godzilla kits that you shared with me once, and I still use it to this day. Can you share that with everybody? Or are you one of those people that really doesn't want to tell people their modeling secrets?
I'll give anything away because I'm set. I don't need to hold anything back.
Okay, let's hear it. That wash formula.
Okay, the wash formula it's oil wash.
I'll hold mine up too.
Mike Wallace actually told me about it.
So it goes over to Mike Wallace then. Okay.
To Mike Wallace, yeah, he hit me to it. It's an oil wash. This is just a jar, and what I do is put black plus burnt umber, and then add a bunch of thinner. This is the kind of thinner Gamasol that I use.
Okay.
And keep it very thin, or medium thin. Then I have another one with just thinner, and I go between the two, and I'll just brush that oil wash in there, and it gets in all the cracks, and it makes all the details pop out like crazy. If you want it much thicker, you can do the glazing technique that David Fisher talked about of using the matte paste, which I use on dinosaurs and Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's fantastic. It makes a big difference using these oil washes. And you can also erase them. I use a Q-tip, dip it in the thinner, and you just subtract. It's always plus and minus. You can do minus paint.
It's one of those things. The first time you do it, you're like, why haven't I done this before? Because it works so well and goes into all little especially on like airplanes and stuff. When you're doing the panel lines, when you're using that first oil wash to get in those cracks and to watch the capillary action work so well, it's just, again, that is a great tip. I want everyone to try that on at least one Godzilla kit.
And another tip for human flesh bases, I usually base coat it flesh, add some highlights, and then I have a dark reddish rusty red wash that I use the oil, and that oil will make it really add that second layer of a real nice airbrush.
Okay.
I don't even use airbrush on for a lot of faces.
So are you a big airbrush guy or a brush guy?
No, I'm a brush guy.
Yeah.
Because I could never master it and get it to work properly, and they always clog up. It's like, man, I got to go clean the damn thing before I can use it again. 5 minutes at a time,
I know.
Back to the washes. You can go over acrylic with those as well. You just go over acrylic.
I go right. If the acrylic is dry, it doesn't need to be sealed. I don't put any dull coat or anything. Just goes right on it.
Yeah, once that oil wash is dry, you can pretty much go over with anything. And if the acrylics are dry, same thing.
And then how long does that take to dry? The wash
It takes a while. It does.
I take overnight, but it looks great and it dries super flat because the levels of matte really makes a difference on kits that are real flat, or even glossy. A glossy, because light will hit gloss. You can have a great paint job and then you gloss a kit and you go, "Way, you can't see any detail." So it's important to have matte and gloss be part of the dance. I got it at a taxidermy shop. It's called Flatner. I think I got that from Steve Reelhouse. It looks like baking soda. You can add it to any paint and it makes it much flatter. You can get real flat.
Oh, okay. Back to the brushes too. There's something about using a brush over airbrush that just feels like you're painting a model sometimes. Airbrush, you're right. My hand is getting crampy too after using them for a while.
Yeah, you should probably keep your hands off yourself a little bit less and a little more on the airbrush.
But it's so fun. It's so fun. Now you threw me. Okay.
Well, another product that I like is this Nita mold.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you Google Nita mold, it's a great make a texture stamp. Like if you're putting together a dinosaur or Godzilla model, and you don't want to have the seams to have to use putty and try to match the sculpting, you can use this Nita mold and create a texture stamp, and it saves you a lot of time, and it's just perfect every time.
Yeah.
Can you use it to make pieces too?
Yeah, I've made I have a creature kit I want to add a bunch of piranhas to. So I made castings from the little dark horse swimming creature with a piranha. I made about 100 piranhas.
Jeez.
You know, he's clawing a guy, and the guy's gonna leak out a little bit of blood, and the piranha's like, "Get him, boys!" You know.
That's great. That is great. Where do you get that? And because I recently bought some from Aves. Is that who makes it, or can you get it other places? I know Aves sells it.
I would go to Google and just type in "need a mold" with a K and see what shows. It'll show up.
Okay.
Okay. What other hobbies do you have?
Whoa, that's a big question here. I'm also a guitarist for a band called Kathy and the Kilowatts, a blues guitarist. I've been playing with her for 40 years. We've got our working on our 5th CD, so I'm a big blues, R&B, Stevie Ray Vaughan, roots music, and I've been learning to play button accordion like Flaco Jimenez, the Texas Tornadoes guys. And man, you know, I'm all over the stringed instruments and learning all kinds of stuff. And if it's interesting, I'm there, baby.
And where can people see you right now?
Well, right now they can only see me here, you know.
On Model Club TV.
Yeah.
Exclusively.
I'm here in Austin, Texas. Our band plays here in Austin a lot. We played in Australia.
Oh, really?
and
Okay,
around the
cool.
United States. So, you know, hopefully when this thing clears up, we'll start touring. And so,
Excellent.
If you go to Google, look up Kathy and the Kilowatts with a K, Kathy Kilowatts. All our stuff will show up, and you
Okay.
kind of get a taste of what I'm doing.
I'll link to it here too as well, because I got to support musicians as much as anyone else.
So let's talk about you two knuckleheads for a minute.
Uh-oh.
I guess you were part of this. Hold on. Let me.
Oh, wait. We got, yep, there we go. Creaturescape. Yeah. Bill, what did you do for Creaturescape? And you want to explain what Creaturescape was to everybody?
Creaturescape was ahead of its time. It was when computers were coming out. Sean,
Back here. There we go.
yeah, Sean wanted to create a digital magazine.
Sean Coates was his name.
Sean Coates
Is his
yeah.
name. He's
That-
still alive.
He's still around. That's a name
Yeah,
I
he's still
see,
around.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
he's still around.
KOTZ?
I talked to him a couple of weeks ago just to say, hey, are you still breathing, bro? And he's doing documentaries on Frankenstein and all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was an out. He asked me to write an article, and you know, I said I'd be delighted to. And you know, when you write things down, and you know, you do that, Jason, all the time. You know how it is. It kind of makes you stop and think, like, how did I do that? You know,
Especially looking at your desk and knowing how I work, you have this pile of paint at the end, and you go, "Oh crap, what did I?" Because I'm so fast. Like I grab stuff, I do this, I mix this, mix that, slap that, and then you have to write the steps, and you kind of go, "Oh no."
it takes a lot of time. Doesn't
It does. It's more work than people think. Instead of just, "Oh yeah, I did." Especially when you're unorganized.
So I did that for many issues with Sean, and you know, I guess it kind of drifted away. I forgot how it ended, but I was proud of the work that I.
Yeah, me too. I was really proud of that too. He was the first guy that really. I mean, I did stuff for Ed's magazine before that, and then I did stuff for Creaturescape, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great idea, and like you said, it was ahead of its time. Because if that came out now, that's basically what AFM is going to be doing here, going digital. And now, like, instead of putting it on a CD, he would have just put it up in a PDF, and you could buy it on Amazon. It would be the same thing. And it really stinks that it came out when it did, because I think if it came out right now, it would do really well.
That's right. That's right.
They have ISDN numbers. Hold on. Let me see if we can pick that up. Yeah, there it is.
Well, there you go.
They have
There you
ISDN numbers even. So
Who, just on the cover of that, what are the names on that cover? Who was in that issue, Scott?
it doesn't give names.
doesn't
Let
say?
me open.
Or who was
Now
that?
I've had these forever, right?
This is the first time he's opening it, probably, because everything is mint in box with Scott.
I hate you. Nothing on this one.
Nothing?
Here's a question and answer with Mike Nelson. Just tells you this is Universal Monsters.
Okay.
I think they were
Fur and
thinking-
Fangs, Dino Land.
That's the one I did the plesiosaur for, I think.
Destroy All Monsters. I got a feeling Bill's probably in this one. It's a Godzilla.
I'm in that one
thing.
too. I think we're both.
Yeah.
And the gorilla from the Black Lagoon. But yeah, it doesn't really say who's in what.
Okay, yeah, I think when you open it up, it lists. But yeah, if you like, maybe I'll grab some pictures from.
And then
it.
I guess they linked online.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure the links are probably dead now.
Yeah.
But
Ooh,
maybe
we should try
not.
that. Bill, other hobby tips. Anything important? I think when we recorded this before, the fearless thing. I want you to really hit on that again.
Yeah, I'd like to encourage everyone who's a little tepid about you have an expensive kit and you're worried about messing up and stripping paint. Don't do that. Just
It's me.
be fearless. Be fearless. You can I always paint right over it. I never strip anything, and I cut up models if I'm envisioning like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if he was posed this way? And you can add a coat hanger here and a coat hanger there, and fill it in with the aged putty, and then match the texture with the Nita mold texture stamp, and you got a whole new thing. And be creative. Let your mind go where. I always think of these new scenarios, like what if the creature from the Black Lagoon met Indiana Jones? You know,
Right in his eye.
yeah.
So, what was the first real expensive kit you cut up and kind of looked at it and said, "Well, there's no going back now"? I mean, what was there one that really sticks out where you go, "Well, here we go," or did you start small and work yourself up to the point where you weren't tepid or afraid to do it?
Yeah. Well, one of them was I remember the Billiken Saucer Man, Monsters in Motion. They wanted like 125, and I was like, oh. But I pulled the trigger, and when I got it, I was happy the way it looked, and it made me happy. It's just money is like the ocean. It comes and it goes, and it comes and it goes. So a lot of these kits that I had way back when. I built and took pictures of, and if a new kit would come along, I would sell that on eBay or something, or to somebody on Gremlins, and then the money I take from that, I'd buy new kits, and then I'd take pictures of it, put them on my website, and I'd get clients from that. So a lot of clients would send me stuff. So there's a long period, 20 years here, that clients would send me kits, and they'd pay me to build them. So I get to build these phenomenal kits and get paid for it. So if anybody wants to get into commission work, go for it, because it's a good way to finance your hobby.
Yeah, it is. But then it
How do you
also
find
leads
time to build for yourself, though? I mean,
yeah, it
do you
eats
have
into your
to
own
balance
pile.
that?
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys I know that paint for other people, they'll complain and say, it sucks because I'm not doing anything for myself.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I've got like 180 kits I need to build, and a lot of them are really old. And I was thinking, I keep telling my wife, "That's it, I'm done. No more client stuff." And then
that giant Godzilla shows up.
3-foot Godzilla shows up. I've done the big guy, the big Godzilla that's 3 feet tall. I've done that twice, and that was amazing.
It's like having a child with you, with a 6-foot tail.
I also did. Remember the Gremlin?
Yeah,
the life-size Gremlin. I took that to a client in Houston and met him at a Starbucks, and I brought that Gremlin in there and stuck it in the chair, and we had some coffee, and the people in the counter were looking at it like, what?
Your favorite model kit of all time, your favorite Godzilla kit of all time, and then your favorite non-Godzilla kit of all time that you've ever built.
I'd say my favorite Godzilla kit of all time was the Big Swing, because it is so bizarre to see Godzilla being swung by his tail, and it levitates. You know what I mean? It defies gravity. That alone, you look at it and you go, how does it do that? And it's just a bizarre scene from the real quick in the film, and things like that. I love things that kind of just float there.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite kit of all time, that's kind of a hard one. I guess that Horizon creature, because the sculpting on that is great. A lot of those sculptors from Japan, man, they got the gift. Let me tell you,
they do. They really do.
And Jeff Yeager, I love Jeff Yeager. Everything he does. He's got classic monsters down.
Yeah, he gets mentioned every episode.
He does.
We should get some money for mentioning Jeff.
You know what's funny? He said his brother's better. a better sculptor. Well, I'd love to see that.
Well, we had Jeff on. I don't know if you watched the episode. We did have Jeff
I
on,
watched
and he was a riot, man. He was a lot of fun, and
Scott's got a crush.
I do have a
think he
crush.
does.
Yeah, I do have a crush. He's taking over from my David Fisher crush. I now have a Jaeger crush, I guess. But
Hey, man, it's understandable if someone does that well sculpting. Even my wife goes, "That's really good."
but you talked about the Japanese sculptors, like the Horizon creature, which is beautiful. And I always say when people ask me the Horizon Joker, and I know you don't look like you're a superhero fan, so you don't have a lot of stuff there, but that Horizon Joker kit, that first one where he's standing, leaning back, that's a beautiful sculpt. It's phenomenal.
And all of those things roughly came out at the same time. There was that period of 4 or 5 years where they put out some really amazing vinyl kits. Horizon.
Yeah, and some really dogs too, though.
There were some bad.
The Wolfman and Mummy were not good.
No, the fur was
No.
no.
And the superheroes were touch and go, and I always make fun of my friends that have the Dark Phoenix or the Doctor Doom. I'm like, throw that thing in the garbage.
Yeah, that Doctor Doom's weird.
I know, but man, guys love it. There's guys that paint it and they love it. Hey,
Well, there was a time you could
Okay.
only get certain kits, and anything that was a garage kit, I would
That's
almost go for it.
that's absolutely because you'd go around here. I'd go in a comic shop, and that's kind of all they had. I'm like, okay, I'll take that one.
right.
And it was totally true.
I see one of the things I see a lot of people put out kits is the mouth color, and I want to say if you use red plus white, make a pink, but add a golden brown, which is like raw umber or raw sienna.
Raw
I'm sorry,
sienna.
raw sienna, and it gives it that fleshy color in the mouth and the little under the eyes, that little slit right here, like that right there. See,
Yeah.
that's a perfect color for that. So that's just a nice little tip to have a can of that, custom paint around.
It is a good tip. Like, you don't want that garish red. You don't. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and I want to suggest that people paint a kit, at least don't. I'm guilty of this too. Put just one base coat and okay, that's it. try to use more than one color on something. 2 colors can really make a difference.
It does.
my pet peeve is always the white skulls or the white eyes or the stark white teeth.
Yeah.
And, I remember David talked about the oyster gray on the eyes when he, on the one video. So I get so you got those, those are just pet peeves. When I see people paint fingernails on a human kit and they paint them white, I'm like, what are you doing? Okay. Or even claws on a dinosaur and they're just white. Throw something in there, throw a wash in there, throw something in there. And another one I always go after, Bill, is gray rocks. I'm like, go out in the yard and find me a gray rock and brown trees. Stop it. Trees aren't brown.
No, I tell my kids that all the time because at school, everyone always draws brown trees. And I'm like, they're gray. There's little bits of green in there. There's brown. Yeah, it's cool.
But you can get away with it, on
No, my
fantasy
kindergartners
stuff.
will not paint brown trees ever, never. And that's exactly how I do.
But
Well, it depends stylistically what you want to do because I will paint Dracula blue. A lot of people paint Bela Lugosi the flesh colored, right? Or
Mhm.
Frankenstein.
right.
I mean, here's something I wanted to say. Here's a guy that really inspired me,
Oh yeah.
That's a great book too.
and he doesn't do anything. His colors are all over the place.
Mhm.
And you think about how light hits you.
Yeah.
And when you have highlights that are, say, purple or these weird, colors of azure blues, it makes it really interesting.
It does. It really does.
So you're not a flesh Frankenstein person, right?
Nope, not me.
I like to get them on my New Jersey friends because they love to paint those flesh Frankensteins, and I'm like,
It's an East Coast thing.
gotta be green, and
Or at least
or a ghost.
grayish with
Yeah.
very pale, super pale.
Right. Steve always does kind of a yellowish, pale, dead-looking thing, And when I see these flesh-colored Frankenstein monster kits, I'm just like screaming, "Stop it!"
Well, he sure looks healthy.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's hey, however you want to paint it, whatever you think is good.
That's true.
Go. Who am I to talk?
Yeah, who
I'm
are
just-
you, dude?
Yeah, just my own particular. I think enjoy yourself with color. We have these colors. I'm gonna take a chance and paint Godzilla brown if you want to, or add red highlights or something. You know?
I did see though. I think it was on your website the other night when I was perusing the, so I could know something about you. No, I'm just kidding. I know I've been looking at Bill's stuff for years.
Well, please go to my website, monsterjones.com.
Monsterjones.com. But you actually did paint. I think it was a Curse of the Werewolf, kind of a Go-Go style in there, didn't you? So you have experimented with that, and I know Jeff Camp really can nail that look for sure. On
everybody should try that. It's a lot of fun to try to do that Go-Go style. And
that's why the miniature guys, the guys that do the smaller scale stuff, that's exactly how they paint. They look at our stuff a lot of times, the larger scale, they go, it looks like toys, because they paint, a lot of those dudes just paint based on light and how light affects the surface. And that's all they do. And when they look at us, where it's the same flesh tone kind of throughout the whole kit, they're like, that doesn't look right. They can't even, it doesn't mix for them. So I'd love to see some of those guys get over to our side and do some of that stuff. And some of our guys go there and try some of the smaller stuff.
I just saw Wolfman that a guy was painting kind of like that. It was the Polar Lights Wolfman, the Bowen one. But he said, yes, I've got the light hitting it from the left. And yeah, it looked like the miniature guys paint.
Mm-hmm.
How about black and white? Have you done any black and white work for anyone, Bill? Or have you?
I have. I did a the Bride of Frankenstein. It was a bust. I guess a Howard
S. Yeah,
Howard S.
I've got that one. The Groom, I think they call it.
I had to wash that thing in a wheelbarrow because it's so big. I didn't have anything to wash off the release of it in a wheelbarrow. But I had him all gray tone except for the scar red, which was kind of
cool. That's cool. A little flesh color, kind of like Sin City. That'd be cool.
Yeah, just have something that just pops out. That was the idea.
Was it David that did the Calgary, but he had like blue eyes on it, or somebody did a Calgary kit? Cabinet of Dr. Calgary, and it was kind of in black and gray tones and black and white, but the eyes were in color, I think. So
I'd love that.
I want to say that was Dave Fisher in one of the video galleries, but I don't want to say 100% and get yelled at.
We're probably wrong. We'll have a correction finally, because we never get anything wrong on here.
Don't count on it. My memory's pretty good.
So you guys know a lot, let me tell you.
No. Oh, sometimes.
I'm the historian, Bill.
He is.
Yeah, I'm the historian, so it's...
Well, there's a lot of history that a lot of folks don't know, and we appreciate you bring that up. Like remember those old lunar models and the old yellow resin?
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, shoot, I go back. There was a guy, and he recasted the Big Frankie kit,
and his name was Jesus,
in solid resin. Okay, solid resin. Can you imagine what that thing weighed? And, I put out that big King Kong kit, and one of the knocks I get is, oh, well, it's hollow. And I'm like, do you know how much this would cost if it was solid? Okay. Again, talking to Steve. Steve did a lot of work for these superhero guys, do a lot of this quarter scale stuff, and they don't want it hollow. They want it solid. They want it to feel like it's a collectible. And it's like, I'm like, I have no idea what they're paying for castings, because to make some of that quarter scale stuff solid would just be crazy. So how many styrene kits do you do? Do you try to stay away from them, or
no? Styrene is very, for seam work, it's a bit, no doubt about that. And that's when the Nita mold comes in real handy, when you can take some texture off to the leg and put it and take care of those seams. You can take care of that real quick, because trying to do that just by hand is a nightmare. So that's the tough part about the styrene but I'm going to try to do some styrene kits, like going to take Dracula's head and put it on the Phantom and put the Phantom, you know what I mean? Just change it up a little bit. Maybe give the Mummy a new head or something.
So being a kid of the 60s, did you do the Weirdos and the Fink kits as well? Or were you more monsters at that point?
Ever since Famous Monsters came out, I said, those monsters are cool. And, it's like my dad, it's like, So for some reason, I always liked monsters, and they could show that they were pissed off. And the things I love about the monsters I like, they didn't ask to be monsters. Frankenstein didn't ask to be Frankenstein, and Dracula, I don't know how he became Dracula. But he might not have asked for it. It's sort of, and Wolfman didn't ask to be Wolfman, So they're sympathetic characters. I like that.
They are very
I just-
sympathetic.
That's
I
Godzilla.
progressed. I didn't do the weirdos and I didn't do the rat finks as much, although I can look at it with the nostalgia of what it was now. But I like stuff like show cars too, though, like Tom Daniels stuff, the Red Baron cars and all that. So did you do cars at all, or did you just do straight monsters and then go to guitars and
I did
girls?
one car. It was like this bathtub on wheels, and they had a model contest, and I got glue all over it. It was a nightmare. I said, I'm not set up for cars. Any kind of detail, precision painting, that's not me. I'm just slap it on there, throw on a wash, and that looks pretty good. Let's go.
Yeah, I've got some car models. I'm not gonna lie, but I like the show cars. Like you said, the thing with the bathtub, Tom Daniels stuff, something that's got a little more than just a car. So
Well, you need to see the Tales from the Rat Fink. You'll love it.
We'll watch that.
oh yeah, I got it written down.
All right, Bill, let's get your plugs in again. Your band website, your website, and anything else you want to plug so we can get that in there. And then we'll put all of your information down in the bottom of the video.
So my model website with it's just a photo gallery. It's all it is. It's called monsterjones.com. And I've got little sub galleries like King Kong, Godzilla, Creature, all that,
Cool.
that. And I've had that for years. And our band is Kathy and the Kilowatts with a K. And if you just open up a Google window and put Kathy Kilowatts, all our stuff will show up, and you get a good taste of this kind of music you like. So,
Excellent. Well, Bill, seriously, thank you again for joining us twice. Oh man, thank you. You're the best.
Yeah.
thank you guys for doing what you do, because modeling is a lonely hobby. We're by ourselves doing this, and if somebody else can talk the geek language and they understand the geek language, it's really nice. That I used to talk with John Tucky for hours, and we just geek out on all kinds of stuff. And
Yeah.
I kind of miss that. I used to talk to Mike Wallace a lot for a long, but I haven't had those long conversations. But you guys are doing it. Thank you.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying to keep that
Right.
alive.
And yeah, John was a big fan. I mean, I don't think there's any horror movie John didn't see. He saw a lot, and he'd get so frustrated with me. Well, that's from blah blah blah. Yeah, John, I've never seen that. God, what are you, a horror fan or what? What's the deal? And John,
Well, seriously, thank you for the compliments as well. We're trying, and
doing a great job.
we
all
will
love
have
it.
you back one day to go through some more stuff that you're building.
I would love to.
Absolutely.
I want to share.
Cool.
all right.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bill.
You betcha.
And we are back. Bill Monster Jones. What a cool dude.
Yeah, Bill's a riot.
Yeah, that's
Those are right.
like,
We had some good conversation off camera too. Bill's
yeah.
a good guy. All these years, I've never met him. Like,
Really?
I mean, I've seen him, and I've seen pictures of him, and I've seen his website, but I don't think I've ever sat and talked with him or introduced myself. I've had some correspondence with him. He mentioned the first time that we filmed that he has a box there with my name on it. So at some point, I sent him something, but
Meth.
yeah, probably, I sent him meth.
Tucked inside a model kit.
Tucked inside a model kit, yeah. But tucked inside a Godzilla foot that he didn't use.
Yes. I used to talk to him a lot, and then when he did go to Wonderfest, I would talk to him a lot. He's a great guy, and talented, and a musician. I love people who have multiple hobbies. Thank you seriously for doing it twice. I apologize.
Yeah, but that doesn't count as he's been on twice. Just so you know,
It kind of does. He's now tied with who's our returning guest? No, Worthling's 3 times.
Worthling's been 3 times.
Yeah. So yeah, he's in second place at this point. I'll give it to him. But thank you. It was awesome. I hope people got something out of that, because there's some good tips and it's a great collection. I'd love to have my room look like that all the time. Yeah.
Still that mess you have behind you now.
Well, this is just the workroom.
Oh, sorry.
Emails and corrections. Let's start with corrections. Did we get anything wrong? Yes. Wolf
Yeah,
Cop.
the whole last episode.
Yeah, we did. Yes.
the
Big
whole
one.
the whole episode 18, the first filming.
It
Yes.
didn't work. Wolf Cop is a new movie. And I think that's it.
How long was Wolf Cop?
It's about an hour and a half, I think.
And of your life that you're never going to get back.
Hey, there's boobs in it.
Well, that's true. It's shorter than Lord of the Rings. So
Loving you. One day, Amanda.
What? The f-
One day. So emails. So here's the crazy thing. Some of the emails, this is the third time we're doing it, like I said earlier. And if we seem rushed, it's because it's the third time we're telling this story on some of them. And we're backed up on emails. So we're going to try and do this quickly.
Called email constipation.
It is email constipation. That is a perfect thing. And we need to take some X-Lax right now.
Yeah.
Mail-Lax. The first email is from Kendall Conniff. And he sent in a picture of his Diablo kit that he's working on in support of your surgery, Scott. We got 2 of those. CG Blade did 2. We'll get to that in a second. Hi, Jason. I started working on a Grim Reaper that's going to get a scratch-built Gothic mausoleum base, but then my best friend got COVID, and while I'm not a superstitious person, I lost interest in that kit for a while. Also, I wouldn't feel right sending Scott a Grim Reaper images right before his surgery. I really wish you would have done that because it would have been really, really, really funny.
Yeah, put my name on the mausoleum. Yeah.
That'd be great. Do it.
JOHANSEN.
Anyway, I finished Diablo last week. It was the first resin kit I've built since probably 2006 and really fun to paint. Turned out great. It is from the legendary Jean-Louis Crillon. Diabolo is actually.
He has a really good style. I've always been a fan of.
Yeah, he has good stuff. Jean-Louis.
And that Jack in the Box kit. Well,
that
it's
is
like a Jack in the Box. I have that.
Yeah, I need that. I have the Navigator from Dune, another boring movie you probably didn't watch. The second email in support of your surgery comes from CG Blade. He did a Black Widow in support of your surgery. And again, I'm still working on mine. Everyone, if you have kits, this was build a model March for Scott for the surgery thing. If you can, we're going to have an extra episode since the surgery got moved back. So we'll show them in April after the surgery. Keep working.
And the winner will receive the kidney in a little jar, or the kidney, the tumor in a little jar. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't
they
say
won't
that.
let me have it.
I think, they won't let you have it, which I think really sucks. If I lose my arm, I should be able to keep my arm and put it in a jar.
Lose your arm. Let's not forget that.
But what I did almost, if I lost my arm, I should be able to say, I want my arm. It's mine. I'm putting it in a jar, right? But they won't because it's a biohazard. That's bullshit. Because it's my arm, I should be able to keep it. If you lose a finger or a toe, you should be able to keep that stuff.
You want a toe? I'll be a toe. I'll be a toe by 9 o'clock. You want a toe?
All right.
Big
CG Blade.
Lebowski. See, I've seen the movie.
Look at that. CG Blade sent in
This is
Black
what
Widow.
happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
I really hope the students don't find this podcast one day because I'm in big trouble. CG Blade sent in Black Widow. He also has a Godzilla kit there with it. And he reached out to Mark Kalin and had some nameplates made. So again, he can sing the praises of Mark Kalin's nameplate making abilities because he had a couple made. And what was the name for what were those?
Lock
names?
and Load.
Yeah, Lock and Load he did. And he had one for the Black Widow made. And they look great. Good job, Mark. So thank you both for all of that. We have a new emailer. And there's a couple emails he sent. I had to get my grandpa glasses for this because I printed them really small. Hello, Sonny.
Sonny!
Hello.
Can't read a goddamn thing.
Can't. This is how I paint my models. So anyway, we have a new emailer, Martin Nero. Hello, Jason and Scott. Just a few words to thank you both for making these wonderful videos. Wow. That someone actually says that. It's scary. Just discovered your videos, catching up after the busy workday. I really enjoy the positive energy you guys bring to the show.
That's me, Mr. Positive.
Oh my God, if he only knew. The interviews are indeed so interesting. I enjoy the topic of the future of the hobby, what the new generation is going for, etc. Please keep up with the wonderful work. In these times of COVID-19, your videos are bringing big smiles to my face. P.S. Just thought I could send you some photos of my kits. So as I'm reading through these, he sent me a lot of pictures, so I'm going to throw them up. So thank you, Martin, for that. He also says PPS. Is that a thing?
Yes.
It is? Really?
I think so.
Okay.
Or was it? Yeah, I think it's PPS. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is a real thing.
Can you keep going? Can you keep going like PPPS? And
You ask one question, you don't get
sorry.
five.
All right.
Okay. Google it. Jesus Christ.
I hate you so much. PPPS. PPS. People I like to see interviewed. Thomas Kuntz. I would love to have him on here too.
It's postscript, just so you know.
Yeah. Oh, is it really? So
Yeah,
then you could do
PS is
postscript.
postscript, and PSS is postscript.
I never do that. People I'd like to see his interviews Thomas Kuntz. I would love to have him on here. And he is a dream guest as well. He is a great guy. And the whole episode would be me and him talking Skinny Puppy, one of our favorite bands. So
there is no PPPS.
Well, that's dumb.
Coming from the guy that didn't even know there was a PPS a minute ago.
Martin also
Thomas Kuntz would be a great guest. Thomas, that one Wonderfest when him and his girlfriend joined us for dinner just out of the blue. That was
awesome.
And you find out he's just, you see all the stuff he does, and it's really,
he's on bizarre, a level
but it's really cool. But when he sits down and talks to you, he's just normal guy, man. Really cool guy. So
Martin also said, I can't thank you guys enough for the great videos. I mean, seriously, I'm just hooked on this stuff. I'm learning so much. And as well, a nostalgic feeling is really cool. I've never been to Wonderfest. He's been to a couple of chillers. My prize model has to be, and I'll be honest with you, this only one I have on display is Zombies of the Stratosphere. We have a picture. Here's a photo. Just love that kit because it represents my father. He was a pulp collector. Passed away at a very young age, and I miss him terribly. And it was he who introduced me to the movies, cereals, pulps, monsters, etc. And it's my wife who bought it for me. So yeah, that's important to me.
Okay.
Hey, Jason, a lot of talk on Mr. Harryhausen. So here's a picture of Martin and Mr. Harryhausen. Great pictures. It's from San Diego, actually. He was such a gentleman, so kind, and his lecture was incredible with original art. I agree. When Harryhausen was at Wonderfest, nicest guy in the world. Couldn't say anything bad about that dude. Like, just nice guy. Last one from Martin. I'm starting to wonder if you received my emails, suggestions for the show. Any chance you can interview John Dennett? I really love his work, and he's just such a nice guy. I'm sure he'll make a wonderful interview. Yes, John Dennett's on the list too. We're going to be reaching out to people as we go. And as far as the reading emails things, I'm bad at it. And so by the time I get home from work, I get so many emails. I just don't want to look at emails.
Maybe
so
I forget to forward them to me.
No, I want to be in control of that.
You can be in control.
Because I don't trust you. All right.
You have control. You have the edit button. You have the balloons that I have no control over.
We could get
the
emails.
Peter Jackson photos that you keep popping up.
You can get emails that you don't want to show me that I need to see. So.
Okay. Anyway. So you get the emails and forward them to me.
I will. Okay.
And I can read them and it won't sound like it's going through a tape recorder backwards. All right.
This guy. This fucking guy. All right. Logan has the lightning round for us, and we're doing these for the third time. So these stories are going to be shorter than they were the first time.
I'm changing my answers every time.
All right, here we go. Logan, lightning round. What are some of the best things you have experienced at Wonderfest and or other conventions?
Wonderfest for me, hanging out with Ken Kelly one night and a group of people that I knew, but I didn't usually hang out with, and we just had a blast, and Ken Kelly and I busting balls with each other, and it was just it was a lot of fun. I laughed so hard I had a headache at the end of the night. So no, that was a good time. Of course, lots of good times and laughs with all of our friends, over the years. Stupid stuff happening in the bar and just whatever, just stupid stuff we've witnessed. And we witnessed a wedding one time in the lobby. So there you go.
And a lot of stupid stuff. My favorite experience from Wonderfest doesn't involve models or modeler or anything. I was coming out of the dealer room one time and I see this guy sitting on the floor and he's kind of looking at his bag of stuff he bought. And I used to watch ECW a lot, which is Extreme Championship Wrestling. And I look down and I'm like, that guy looks a lot like Roadkill the Angry Amish. And so I go over to him and I'm like, are you Roadkill? And he looks up at me and he goes, yeah. I go, no way. What are you doing? And I had this was like 98 or 99. Like, it had to be around then. And I'm like, what are you doing here? What? And he lived in the area. He saw the commercial for a Wonderfest on TV or on the radio. And he's into like horror, sci-fi stuff a little bit. So he just dropped in and didn't know it was a model, like didn't even know what a garage kit was. And he was like, oh, is that a good time? And I got to meet Roadkill the Angry Amish, which if you go watch ECW videos on YouTube. So he just happened to be there. The other conventions part is, I just want to mention Horror Hound weekend in Indianapolis and Cincinnati, and Mask Fest, which is part of the Indianapolis show. I have the best time at those shows, and the best time I had at those shows was with my friend Adrian, who passed away a few years back, and we witnessed. If you think Wonderfest gets crazy in the drinking, I've watched one of the Michael Myers actors out of his mind drunk in a bar with some other of the people you usually see signing autographs and stuff. I watched a movie, or a guy who was in a movie, obviously on stuff or a lot of liquor, with a bunch of underage girls on a couch that just looked really strange. So it's always these really odd things that happen at those shows that me and Adrian would just get. They have like a little circus sideshow at night, and they have all these like just really cool stuff going on at the Horror Hound weekend shows. I miss them deeply, deeply since COVID started, because I've now missed 2 of those, one, 2. They're usually in October, but Horror Hound, there's 2. But I want to go back to those. I really love those shows, and it's bittersweet because Adrian's not here anymore. Okay, moving on. What are the worst things you've experienced at Wonderfest and other conventions? Let's do one worse than Wonderfest and another convention if you got it.
Yeah, one worse than Wonderfest was the year they had it in the other in the expo across the street, and they were rehabbing the hotels. And I remember I got in late the night before, and they had put me in the hotel across the street. And my wife's like, "There's no way I'm staying here." And I was ready to turn around and go home because they had switched my hotel, and I ended up at the Hampton, which Hamptons are generally pretty nice. And I was pouring resin in the room that night too. And
of course, who isn't?
But why it was bad is, and don't get me wrong, my wife was with me and we were fine. But by the time I got to the Hampton, I didn't want to go back to the Executive West and hang out in the bar. So I hung out with nobody that year.
Yeah.
I think we all went to dinner one night and that was it. And so that was that. And then in the Imagination Expo, my good friend Ed Baukley had chipped one of his kits and went and got some paint and tossed it across the room at me. And I had no idea what he threw at me. I look up in the lights. I totally lose it.
Like a Cubs player.
For all I know, he threw a brick at me. So I duck out of the way. This can of paint hits the ground. Black paint hits the ground, splatters all over his banner and all over the carpet, all over me. And I have a picture somewhere of me with this stuff all over me. And he sat there while his wife and I were on our hands and knees, and he went and told Rotundi, and Rotundi comes and looks at it like it was my fault. Like, what the fuck did you do? And he comes back with some kind of cleaner, and Ed's wife and I are trying to dab all this paint up. Thought we did a good job till we got up and looked, and you could see the carpeting was trash. And Rotundi never got a bill for it because I guess we kept it wet enough that when they came through with the cleaner afterwards, it probably all sucked it all up and it was fine.
Nice. Save.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Great time.
Back to the other story. That was also at Wonderfest. That was also the year American Idol was there, and they were having tryouts for American Idol. And there was just like circles of kids playing guitars and singing.
Ooh, sorry.
Sorry. Since you yawn at me all the time. I wonder why Jason can't say no. It's hard at first, but once
can't say anything. Ooh.
I wonder why Jason can't say no. It's hard at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's fun. That's true. I should have said no on that.
Can't say no. He can't even spell no if you spotted him the N.
KNOW. And what were the worst model kits you ever put together? And he brings up worst casting on a resin model you've ever tried and failed to put together. Mine is Inaleg's Cthulhu. Those damn wings were awful to assemble. Using hair dryer to get them to fit. 3D direct Morlock because of the pinhole nightmare. and brittle resin. Don't get me wrong, it was awesome sculpt, but the resin is like chalk. I agree 100% on that Cthulhu kit. And I went to a talk at Wonderfest the year that came out, and John Dennett was talking about how he wanted it released in resin because he knew it was going to be a nightmare in vinyl, but it would have been too expensive. So they just did it in vinyl anyway. That thing needs to be redone in resin or resculpted. I would love him to redo a newer version of it, because today you could make the tentacles on his face doing cool stuff. But yeah, those, and then afterwards the arms sag. I reinforced them, and again, I agree that Inaleg Cthulhu and Inaleg Spawn was terrible. That cape was a nightmare, and my other one that I remember hating was the Netherworld Dr. Chenard that I have, because the big base that's in the shape of the puzzle box, they did not fit at all, and so you had to put them together and then resculpt all the puzzle design in there out of back then like Milliput or whatever we had, like nothing like it was brutal. How about you, Scott? Worst casting you've ever seen, or because you don't really put stuff together?
So one thing that was bad is, and everyone of course can attest to this that's ever built this kit, and I've just looked at it out of the box and went, Jesus. The Sideshow, the Wrightson Frankenstein, especially the base, the warpage on the vinyl is anybody I've ever talked to, and people have spent a lot of time and really made that. It's a beautiful kit. It's one of the most beautifully sculpted kits ever, in my opinion.
Yeah. But
from what I understand, it's a nightmare to put together. And the other one I had problems with was the vinyl Janus Dracula, and I still haven't painted it. But the vinyl went together really strange. And at the time, when I finally got the cape to fit together right, I actually had the girl I was dating at the time was dropping the glue and spraying it, and it was like I was stitching it going down the line of the cape to get it right.
Yeah, it wasn't. I just recently built, like in the last, it was like 10 years ago now. Oh my God. It wasn't fun. I did not like doing it.
No, it's a nightmare. It looks fine when it's done, but it's a nightmare. So get the resin one if you can get it.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Our final two emails are from the same person. Of course, it's Phil Kupka. And we already talked about part of this. It was he watched Velocipaster, and that's where I decided to watch it from. He also says there's also I Was a Teenage Wereskunk and 5 and 6-headed Shark Attacker on there on Amazon Prime, which is true. Go watch those too. Scotty, don't listen to Jason. Don't open the Lone Ranger and Tonto. Open it. Attire. Jason, what was on your shirt? That was a couple episodes ago. That was a Mask Fest t-shirt from a couple years ago. Model paints. Paint of choice is Craft Paint. Ceramcoat is the brand I prefer. It's inexpensive and I get results with it. You know I don't use an airbrush, so I can't vouch for it if it works in one. It does. You can thin it, but it's not as good. I wish, though, they would stop discontinuing colors and changing the names of colors. We talked about this the first time we recorded it with Bill. I suggest everyone that uses Craft Paint, give Reaper a call and buy one of their paint sets. You will know it's night and day. It's not that expensive. It's about the price of a kit. You will love that paint. And it's super, like, trust me, please give them a shot. It's not as expensive as some of the Citadel paint. Give Reaper a try. American company, great people, great paint. I'll even put a link in the description. They have not paid me to say any of this ever, but it's a great starter paint. If you're like a craft paint person, please give like that paint a try. Modelers are artists, enough said.
Don't fear the Reaper.
Don't fear the Reaper. Jimmy Flintstone, we know Kurt loves his stuff. We talked about this a little bit. I built 4 of his Mad Monster kits, all pictured below, and we'll put them here as I speak. Along with being affordable, when Jimmy ships your order, the shipping charges are way low. He always throws in a little something extra. There you go, guys. This one's a little bit shorter. Maybe if you had a guest on an episode, I'd have more to say, and so would you. Like, come on. We did have a guest, so. And he has one more email from us. And there's Scott. What are you drinking today, man? Are you dehydrated?
Everything. I am.
You have one kidney. How are you doing this?
Wait, you know what? I'm not just talented in this. Hold on. Gotta get this out of the way. It's in the way of me reading. Okay. So Phil sent us another email for last episode. And Phil, Jason lost your email because that's how much he cares about your email. But I decided I'll read it. And
Time out. That is not fair. I get all the emails. So the ones I get the entries for the model kits, and then I get the oh my god!
do it all. I fuck it all up too,
Alright,
and don't
alright,
do
go
the
ahead.
sound,
Go
so
ahead.
we have to do it a second
Go
time.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. And Phil and I are friends, so Phil sends me the emails as well. To us 3 at AOL.com. Anyway, hey guys, 17 episodes and still going strong. After Scotty sent me a note that number 17 was on the air, I said to my Diane, who was watching the news on the tube, I've got a new episode of Model Club TV to watch. And I headed for the stairs to go up to my model room to watch it. She basically told him, you can watch it here. So we went over to the couch. I just want to see this one news story. Well, it ended and the weather started. I just want to see the weather, was her next comment. It was just a short update. Then another news article started up, and then I finally said, I got up and I started for the stairs again. Here, you can watch your show, she said. To which I replied, and then he writes in parentheses, not really, because she'd bust him in the head. I want to be alone with my boys. Okay. All I can say is I like to be alone with my boys too. Okay. Next paragraph. Haven't seen
The
Willy's
Alter Boys,
Wonderland.
right?
Yeah. I haven't seen Willy's Wonderland, but we'll check it out. My favorite Nick Cage movie is It Could Happen to You. No spoiler alert. Check it out, Jason. It's not a kill your mother, kill your father movie. And Scotty,
That's the point.
there are no giant apes. I will suggest watching it as date night with your significant other. One clue. Nick's character's wife is a money-hungry bitch. That too. And concerning the film Grease, Jason only watched parts of it. Again, because it wasn't a kill your mother, kill your father movie, right, Jason? Okay.
No, just because it looks dumb.
Okay. New kits, Phil's received none. New kits he sold. A guy in Missouri is in the middle of buying 25 of Phil's built figure kits. He has a number of built Harryhausen figure kits to sell. If there's any listeners who are looking for a particular one, have them message me and I'll send them photos. Weird hobby tools that Phil likes to use. He'll tell you that he's telling me that Mike Park's favorite sculpting tool was a dull paring knife. And for him, it has to be an overripe banana and a cinder block. Busting our balls there.
I don't understand.
It's a joke. Then he did the tongue out thing. Okay. So since you, Jason, now own a Godzilla Tiny Terror, who will win the race to finish building and painting it? Scott, you have a good head start, but okay. All I can say is mine will be built correctly. Okay. Jason, on your model plane build, here's a clue. Don't offer to build more model airplanes, even if a friend asks you. Boy, that seems to be a resounding theme.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
I realize the weather has something to do with the lack of one of the newest features on Model Club TV, Road Trip with Jason. Any hopes or plans for the next trip?
No. I have no plans to go.
We should do a hobby shop.
Yeah,
trip.
you know what? I think that's a good idea.
You and I'll do a hobby shop trip and we can take some photos while we're there. And
yeah, I agree.
Finally, Phil writes, it's always sad when we lose someone close. My grandpa lost his mother, his wife, and his daughter, Phil's mom, all within a year's time. Passing of friends like Matt and others in the hobby is hard to cope with, as was quite evident at the end of the episode. One of my close model buddies, Bill Ostrander, and again, Phil sent some photos. Sorry for that. Noise passed away after suffering a stroke. As many of us in the hobby are up there in years, I'm sure we will experience a lot of grief over the coming years. Every time that happens, try to focus on all the great times they spent sharing with us and the kits they had built. The ways they made us laugh and the time they considered us their friend. And that's all that's really true. So,
yep, absolutely.
So, all right, you forgot something.
I did forget something. We need to go back. I did not give my worst things at Wonderfest and other conventions. At Wonderfest, it was getting in a shouting match with a pretty famous sculptor who was a really good friend of mine at the time. We are not friends anymore, and it really hotel security was called on us, and they almost threw us out. Well, they threw that person out.
Should have beat his ass.
No, I'm the better man.
He blocked me for no reason. I bet you if you had him on right now, and said, "Do you know who Scott Johansson is?" He wouldn't even know because, first of all, he looks down on everyone that buys his stuff and supports him. And then second off, he said, "Why did you block Scott Johansson?" He wouldn't know that either.
Yeah, I won't. So much I want to say. Other conventions, it was Wizard World and it was Lou Ferrigno, and he pressured me into buying a picture I did not want to buy. So my dad, we used to be a bodybuilder, lifts weights a little bit. I did not take after him, and he's like, he saw a commercial for Wizard World on TV or on the radio or something, and it said like they always advertise the stars that are going to be there, and Lou Ferrigno was one of them. And he always watched we watched the Hulk when I was a kid and all that. And so he's like, "Hey, are you going to that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll probably go." And I really didn't want to, but I went. And I walk up to Lou Ferrigno's table. He wanted his one pic. He's like, "Just get an autograph for me." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "How much do those usually cost?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think they're like $20 a picture or like $10 a picture. It depends on the person." And he's like, "Well, here's like $20. Give me something." So I go up to Lou Ferrigno's table and there's nobody there. And as I'm learning more, this is a very common thing with him. Wow, he's not a very nice guy. I walk up there and it was the usual set of pictures on the table. And he's sitting there with his girlfriend or wife or somebody. And I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Ferrigno, I want to get a picture signed for my father." And I'm like, "Here you go. Here's $20. He goes, "They're 2 for $40. And he just dead stares me in the face. And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. My dad just wants, the one." He's like, "They're 2 for $40. And I could not say no to the Hulk. And I just felt like he was going to jump over the table and like stuff the thing in my pants and then punch me in the face. So I was like, "Okay, I'll take 2. And he's like, "Well, what do you want me to sign on both of them?" I'm like, could you put "Don't Be a Girly Man, Leon" on one of them? He's like, "What on the other?" I go, I don't know. You choose." So he just signed his name or something.
I said, "They're 2 for $40.
That's what I should have done. So I was I felt like a victim after I walked away from that table. And there's other people I've heard stories in the modeling community. You can leave them in the comments here. I'd love for more people to find out about him, but yeah he's made a name for himself. Come get me. Come get me.
Yeah, like he can hear you.
Yeah, it's true.
Sign it. Come get me, Lou. Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Another joke that I'll go to hell for.
You're already going now. Okay. That's it. We solved the world's problems today. I think.
For the second time this week. Jag.
All right, Scott. How was your day otherwise? You okay? You good? You seem a little down today.
Well, we had I had an incident today in the garage. My snowblower's been sticking the throttle on it. So the weather's been nice here, so I set up a table out there and I said, "Well, I'm going to take this apart and work on it." So I dumped the gas into a little Tupperware thing, just threw it under the table while I was working. And I had my dog out there, and he's a lab, and he's dumb, and you let him. And I look down, and he's just fucking licking the gas up. I'm like, holy fuck. And I grab it away from him real quick, and all of a sudden he looks at me, he starts and he's running into shit, and he just fucking yeah. And it's like, I don't know what to do, and he's old, but he's running into shit like crazy, and he's fucking bashing his head into the metal fucking toolboxes I got out there. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't catch him, and he won't let me touch him. And all of a sudden he stops, and he just looks at me, and he falls over. Boom.
What? Did he die?
No, he ran out of gas.
I hate you. I hate you. Goodbye, everybody.